The girl looked straight into her opponent's eyes, unwaveringly stating, "Whether you want to fight or not, you pay for the love department." The guy stood in front of her with a threatening look, demanding blithely, "I said give me the money or there will be no wedding." The next frame showed an outburst of aggression, the girl's fist flying swiftly toward the young man's face, accompanied by a shout of "Fight!" She didn't hold back, shouting contemptuously at him in response to his threats, "How dare you! Take that, you rascal!" The young man couldn't resist a powerful punch. "Don't play smart, Paula." He flew out. The girl stood, full of anger. "If you don't have any money or clothes, you're not worth my time." Leaving it in the dust, she coldly remarked, "Squid, octopus, starfish, or fuck you, asshole." Other girls observing the situation started saying that calling seafood names and listening aren't the same thing, Herla. Friends were discussing love issues in the school cafeteria. "You shouldn't have dated him. He was a mistake," one sighed. "He's still handsome, just like from the manga," another laughed, but a third was not in the mood. "It's Takakura-kun." "I prefer people like Takakura-kun, strong and real," she stated dreamily, holding up her fist. One of the girls, as she was leaving, thought, "Maybe I won't meet a guy like Takakura-kun." There was tension in the classroom, and the girl said quietly, "What a cruel world we live in." A boy with glasses was studying a book intently, crumpled papers flying around him like a metaphor for the chaos in his thoughts. The two schoolboys whispered, one of them throwing in mockingly, "Don't look at us, weirdo." The boy in glasses, ignoring the taunts, continued his immersion into the world of knowledge, surrounded by paper airplanes. She looked at the broken window, catching her breath. What a cruel world we live in. The boy stopped the throwing magnet with a shout, "Ow, this is going to hurt." The girl sitting on the desk deep into reading, tension reignited around her. "What are you reading?" the boy asked. She sighed, looking at the boy with glasses. "Boring, Tina," she whispered softly. She walked away, looking around the classroom. "It seems like our world is nothing but scum everywhere." Her gaze was sad and disappointed, and the boy with glasses watched her in silence. "Aziz Momo-san, we need to blow off some steam," shouted someone in the hallway, cheering her on. The boy lurking around the corner exclaimed in delight, "I think I know what you like." The boy with glasses exclaims indignantly, defending his opinion. His gaze is full of confidence, his words sharp. The girl answers, her tone serious, her gaze piercing. She's standing her ground, defending the borders. She firmly rejects him, emphasizing her desire to break the bond. Her constancy is unwavering. The boy replies, his tone slurred. Maybe he accepts her words, or maybe he's still puzzled. Characters in the comic hotly discuss the mysteries of Project Pegasus and celebrity space travel. The girl rejects ideas about UFOs and other phenomena, sparking a discussion about the scientific approach to unexplored phenomena. The boy is outraged when he is accused of believing in UFOs. He fervently defends his point of view, believing it to be logical and reasonable, mentioning space self-defense forces, pointing to the increasingly hot topic of space security. Characters share their impressions of the strange things they've seen. One is shocked by what he sees, the other doubts. One talks about the strong influence botany has on people, eliciting an emotional response from the other. The girl asks to stop trying to be friends, wanting to put a stop to their communication. The boy apologizes for overreacting, realizing that his behavior was unnecessary. He looks regretful. The boy with the glasses hands over the paper, saying simply, "Here you go." His face expresses neutrality. He seems calm. The girl expresses her belief in ghosts, although she rejects other mystical phenomena. The boy laughs at her belief in ghosts, claiming they don't exist, which shocks the girl. He rebukes her for labeling and lack of serious dialogue, expressing frustration with the conversation. The girl surprises the boy with the statement that her grandmother is psychic, which gives him a shock. She goes on to talk about spasms and ghosts, suggesting a connection between them and disease. The boy exclaims in amazement upon learning that the girl may have once experienced the curse of ghosts. The two girls stand puzzled, as if wondering about the reality of this whole supernatural conversation. The girl, remembering her grandmother, suddenly starts proving her point, trying to bring the boy closer to botany. She passionately tells the boy that if he truly believes, he will witness a true miracle. The boy replies that he is ready to take her challenge and show her that he can also be special. An abandoned corridor in an old building, giving a gloomy background to their discussion of the supernatural. Concern and fear are reflected on the girl's face as she looks at her phone, exclaiming her unease and lack of understanding of her surroundings. Reveals a warning on her phone screen talking about the risk of being kidnapped, which makes her even more anxious. The girl is horrified to read that if she is abducted, she may be taken aboard an alien ship for experiments, which heightens her fear. The boy considers the possibility that he too could be the subject of experimentation, which further fuels their excitement and anxiety. The girl goes on to discuss her concerns, saying that most people lose their memory after being kidnapped. The boy keeps up, recalling rumors of soul regression and asking rhetorical questions about the unseen and unexplained. The girl replies firmly, emphasizing the importance of her arguments despite her lack of personal experience with ghosts. It opens the eye to the ghost's abodes, adding a mystical atmosphere to their dialogue about the supernatural. The boy with glasses is determined to prove the girl wrong, his mood full of determination. The girl expresses her surprise at the place, which has proven popular on the internet, and her own excitement. The boy shouts out the lyrics of the song, creating a comical contrast between the seriousness of the moment and his actions. He interrogates the girl, recalling her words about never having seen ghosts, emphasizing her contradictory claims. The guy in the hallway is in a stupor, his eyes puzzled. The writings around him are like echoes of his thoughts, heightening his sense of unease. The dialogue between the two men mixes humor and irony. One of them asks for a return of confidence, the other guffaws. The girl stares at her phone in surprise. The conversation about the psychic grandmother brings a note of mystery to the story. The boy with the phone expresses grief. His words about his parents make the viewer rethink the previous footage. The words, "Why are you being so rude all of a sudden?" come from the phone. The boy is confused and responds, "Oh, I see." His condition expresses inner conflict and frustration. The girl looks forward, her back tense, and she confesses, "Hear me out. You see, my family is very strange." You can hear the anxiety and uncertainty in her voice. "Whenever I left the house, they made me do some kind of spell, even at school." The girl continues, raising her gaze to the sky, her actions expressing concern and incomprehension. "And if I didn't make it, my grandmother got very angry and I felt terrible, and of course all the boys laughed at me." She finishes, remembering the pain and shame these family rituals brought her. The girl's eyes are full of sadness. She confesses, "I was laughed at by a boy I liked, but worst of all..." Continuing, she says with gravity, "Told her that because of that stupid spell, the boy I liked didn't like me. I really hated my grandmother." The girl's back expresses her desperation as she whispers, "There's a lot of bad stuff I told her." She holds up the phone and her words sound like a sentence. "I didn't talk to her until recently and stopped doing spells." It's a decision full of determination and relief. The boy on the phone says, "But when someone makes fun of my family, I get really angry." It reflects his defensive posture and the pain of misunderstanding. The girl standing back shares, "And the fact that the boy I liked, mocking my grandmother, and I realized..." Her realization is multifaceted and complex. "Told her that stupid spell was the reason the boy I liked didn't like me. I really hated my grandmother." Bitterness and anger dominate her words. The girl's back is filled with determination as she says, "A lot of bad things, I told her." These are words of regret and sadness for what has happened. The boy in the image holds his phone tightly, his words full of indignation. "But when someone mocks my family, I get really angry." It expresses a deep attachment to family values and protection of one's loved ones. The girl, standing with her back to us, opens her soul. "And the fact that the boy I liked mocking my grandmother. And I realized..." She came to the realization that her feelings for the boy had cooled, not because of his actions, but because of his treatment of her grandmother. In the next shot, the girl explains, "And her work as a psychic, because she seemed special to me. In fact, I loved my grandmother." She admits that despite the misunderstandings and anger, the love for her grandmother still lives in her heart. Finally, the girl looks off into the distance and says thoughtfully, "And I don't know if my grandmother has a sixth sense or something. Honestly, I've never seen a ghost before." These words reflect her skepticism and perhaps even some disappointment in her grandmother's mystical abilities. The girl walks beside her grandmother, her hand gripping her arm tightly. "So, I believe in her," and single-handedly raised. Words filled with warmth and appreciation. Her gaze becoming thoughtful, she says, "I believe in introductions as well." And so, reflecting her deep connection to her grandmother's mystical world. The boy on the phone asks the question, "What about you? Why do you believe in aliens?" His expression is full of curiosity and bewilderment. The girl standing in the ruined building is puzzled by his question. There's no particular reason. Do I need a reason for what I like? Of course." She responds confidently, emphasizing her individuality and freedom to choose her beliefs. The girl says with a smile in her voice, "Oh, really? You know, you're pretty perky when you talk on the phone." Her words are light and playful and add to the story's casualness. The boy replies hesitantly, "Well, you're pretty easy to talk to, Ayase-san." His words reflect a growing sense of comfort with communication. The dark tunnel and the mystical creature in it create a contrast to the previous mundane scenes. It looks at the boy, a look full of mystery and wisdom. The creature says softly, "You're going to blow it." These words of encouragement and faith in his strength may be what the boy needs to hear at this moment. A boy with his mouth open says into the phone, "Let me suck a pee-pee." These words create an image of innocence and childlike spontaneity. Astonishment takes over his face when the phone says, "Trisra Ayase." The words, "Stop, don't run," express the urgency and drama of the situation. Suddenly, the boy runs down the tunnel screaming, "Stop, occult maniac." Energy and fear make him act quickly and decisively. "No, it can't be." The desperation and disbelief in the boy's voice heightens the tension. The story is gripping and keeps you in suspense. The figure moves away in a dark tunnel and the boy exclaims, "That's just some old woman. It can't be any other way." His words try to bring logic to the strange occurrence. The boy rushes to his bicycle, shouting, "Stop now!" He's ready to leave this place full of mystery and the unknown. XXA, I must have mistaken her for a ghost. The net says she's very dangerous. His laughter hides his excitement, and he tries to convince himself of the ordinariness of the situation. The boy can barely hide his excitement, saying into the phone, "Don't let her overtake you. I just met some horny old lady, that's all." His words express an attempt to convince himself that there is nothing wrong with keeping his composure. The fearsome creature threatens the boy, screaming, "If a turbo babe overtakes you, you'll be cursed." The girl panics and seeks support on the phone. "Occult boy, can you hear me? Allah, answer me." She runs down the ruined hallway, screaming desperately, "I'm coming to you now, just hang in there. You're kidding me." 4 identical silhouettes suddenly appear in front of the girl, and she stops, stunned by the sight. 3 unusual silhouettes stand side by side, their smiles frozen and identical, like masks on actors' faces. Such a sight awakens a sense of the unreality of what is happening and the mysteriousness of these figures. The girl's gaze is full of consternation and incomprehension. She is confronted with something outside of her ordinary world, a situation that is difficult to explain with logic or common sense. She hesitantly utters, "Stop. What the?" trying to find answers or some reasonable explanation. Her words reflect her inner turmoil and her attempt to cope with the sudden onslaught of fear. Then, overcoming her fear, she gains the strength to escape. Her movements are desperate and purposeful, each step far from doubt, driven by the instinct of self-preservation and the desire to escape the unfathomable. The image, which shows 3 figures, demonstrates a dynamic pursuit. Fear and determination are written on the face of the running girl, while the silhouettes behind her add an element of grotesque and inevitability to the scene. The girl falls, her face contorted with horror. The scene conveys the poignancy of the moment and her extreme desperation. The emotional intensity of the moment grabs the attention, and as soon as they grabbed her, they started dragging her into some room. In the last image, the girl is apparently safe, her position and facial expression suggesting that the danger has passed. The atmosphere seems controlled and calm compared to the previous chaos. The girl, surrounded by a trio of unknown beings, freezes in surprise and fear, while one of them cheerfully exclaims, "Whoa, greetings, human woman." She looks at them, full of disbelief and fear, and asks, "Aliens?" The creature replies with a smile, "We call ourselves that because we come from the planet Serpo." It brings an element of the fantastic and the unknowable into the story. "If you came in peace, why did you strip me? Where are my clothes?" The girl demands an explanation, her gaze and body clearly expressing shock and resistance. "Don't worry, your belongings will be taken care of with the utmost care," one of the creatures assures her. These words, while meant to reassure, can be taken ambiguously given the strangeness of the whole situation. In a world where clones rule, our hero faces the reality of artificial reproduction. "Our species is exclusively male," they explain, using cloning technology to continue the species. The protagonist, unwilling to listen, explodes with indignation. "Never mind, I want to go home." She demands to be freed from this absurdity. Clones reveal their problem: lack of biological evolution and competition. Competition and emotion have been eradicated from our race, they declare. A sudden twist in the story: the clones demand bananas from the heroine. "We need your bananas," they say, overwhelming her with the unexpected request. The heroine finds herself in a quandary but still screams, "But I kept my virginity." She struggles not only with physical fetters but also with moral dilemmas. She shouts to her adversary, "The innocence I have preserved for Takakura." Her anger and despair grows with every word. The clones explain their plan. "In order to excite you more, we will control your brainwaves." The science experiment becomes more and more sinister. The heroine feels her body getting hotter and hears the question, "How do you feel?" The situation deepens and she senses impending danger. The clones are confident in their psychological stability. "You're resisting our psychokinesis," they remark, perplexed before the heroine's resilience. Suddenly there was a knock on the door. The heroine and the clones take notice of a new sound. The situation is escalating. The clone with the phone in his hand says, "Phone? What bad timing?" He looks puzzled by the sudden call. And then something unexpected comes along, breaking down the walls. The heroine and the clones are dumbfounded by the monster's appearance, growing increasingly tense as they wait to see what happens next. A clone facing a monster experiences the full power of an unexpected foe. The situation escalates, and now he is forced to fight for his life. In the next moment, the clone flies backwards from the monster's powerful kick. This action wreaks havoc on the organized world of the clones, forcing them to rethink their perception of safety. The heroine, with mixed feelings of fear and guilt, appeals to an unseen ally for forgiveness. Her gaze is full of despair, and she has clearly lost control of the situation. A cry of "Turbo Babka" echoes around the room as the heroine realizes she's encountered something supernatural. This moment of redemption and fear becomes a key turning point in their struggle. The clone, still stunned by the monster's sudden attack, tries to coordinate a response. The heroine, in turn, calls upon a higher power for help, shouting, "An occult boy, thank goodness, come on, help me." One of the clones confidently states to the heroine, "You do not have permission to be in this area, you a human male." He doesn't realize its true nature. The clone, who appears to be the leader, gives the command, "Go now!" His voice sounds calm despite the chaos around him. And then, out of the destruction, another strange creature appears, demanding of the heroine, "Give us your banana." This moment adds absurdity to an already ridiculous situation. The monster is carried through the air like a storm, bearing down on the clone. Every move he makes leaves destruction and panic in its wake. A creature in a zebra suit shouts out, "Our agro-dehydrated bananas, banana thief." This cry signifies the beginning of an unforeseen battle for food. "Gotcha! Hearts broka!" The creature tosses the clone aside. The bout is heating up, with each contestant trying to gain the upper hand. The creature continues its furious run, leaving only destruction in its wake. This moment emphasizes the indomitable strength and power of the mysterious adversary. The heroine addresses the unknown assistant, "Occult boy." Her voice is filled with hope for a miracle in this chaos. The creature in the zebra suit claims that friendly relations have been established between them and humanity, and demands bananas as a sign of goodwill. The clone, cast aside, is still trying to please the strange creature, screaming, "I'll give it back! I'll give you anything!" The heroine, trying to make sense of the situation, comes to the conclusion that the creature wants friendship, recalling her high school attempts to make friends. The heroine recalls her loneliness. "No matter how many times I called for them, they didn't show up." Her words express a deep longing for the friends she never had. A boy with glasses shares his experiences. "No one has ever acknowledged my existence." He feels invisible and unclaimed. However, there was a moment of encouragement in his life. "She stood up for me," he says about the girl who protected him in the past. Her action left a bright mark on his heart. The heroine declares, "I won't forgive anyone who hurts him." Her determination to protect her loved one knows no bounds. The clone, in a last attempt to defend himself, screams, "And if it's for her, I'll even get ugly." His determination shows the depth of his feelings. The heroine turns to her unseen assistant with a shout, "Give 'em hell, occult boy. Show them who's the real man around here." Her words are full of despair and hope. The monster continues its devastating onslaught, leaving the enemy no chance of victory. The power of his attack is overwhelming. The clone, realizing his powerlessness, says, "Ayase-san, I guess I'm not cut out for this." His words are full of the realization of his own vulnerability and despair. The character shouts, full of determination, "Wait, it's a little early to give up." Apparently, he's at the very beginning of his journey, facing obstacles but unwilling to back down. The next shot is of lips uttering words of despair. "We can never be friends with rude people like you." These are words of conflict, perhaps disappointment in someone close to you. In another picture, a character is captivated by fear. The words reveal a threat. "Moreover, we prefer human women, not men." There is a sense of danger and mystery here. The girl in the last image protests, "Every day, my friend makes fun of me for it. No, I don't want to." Her words express the struggle with daily trials. A character with a serious face says, "And bullies won't even be able to get near you." You can see that he's protecting someone, perhaps a younger friend or brother. Next, we see someone breathing in energy. First, let the energy into the deepest part of your belly. It is like a self-defense or meditation class. The student is preparing for something important. In the next shot, the child appears to be mocked by others. Is she trying to talk to aliens or something? Their laughter and words sound mocking and cruel. A running kid who's screaming, "Momo, wait, I've had enough, I won't do it again." Apparently, he was tired of being ridiculed and decided to stand up for his pride. An irritated voice yells, "You stupid underdog!" And in response is heard, "I hate you, Grandma." It could be an expression of momentary anger or frustration. Perhaps there was a misunderstanding between the characters. The next moment shows us the reflection, "I'm just shy. I'm sorry, Grandma. Why am I bringing this up now?" Apparently, the character is experiencing guilt or regret. In the third image, someone focuses on breathing. Then visualize ki coming out of the top of your head. Get the energy into the deepest part of your belly. This can be part of training or therapy aimed at self-improvement. And we see the surprise. "You have psychic powers, Ayase-san." "No, I was scared myself." Maybe this moment opens a new chapter in the character's life where he discovers unexpected abilities. In the cosmic abyss, the girl screams, "No, oh, the man is resisting my psychokinesis." Her surprise suggests unexpected resistance. Perhaps she is just learning to control her new powers. "Her chakras have opened," someone exclaims in the next moment. It could mean that the girl has gained a new level of self-awareness or spiritual power. Next, we see the statement, "Grandma was a real psychic." There is a sense of admiration and wonder in this revelation. And the last words, "Thank you, Grandma, now with that power." They are full of determination and gratitude, as if the girl is ready to step into a new life armed with her newfound abilities. In a whirlwind of events, a girl with psychokinetic powers declares, "I can kick these scumbags all I want." She seems full of determination and control over the situation. But suddenly there is a moment of confusion. What? Were we trapped? The situation changes and the character finds himself in unexpected danger. "Are you all right, occult boy?" A question full of concern, along with the cry of, "We gotta get out of here." There is a sense of urgency, a need to escape. And the tension reaches a climax when they come face to face with the monster. The scene is full of dynamics and adrenaline, emphasizing the danger of the moment. In a tense moment, an exclamation is heard. "Au, what are you doing, maiden?" It seems like one of the characters is doing something unexpected or risky. "Come on, pull yourself together." A call to action, someone trying to take control of a situation or mobilize another for an important action. The next image plunges us into an atmosphere of despair. Pathetic. The character seems to be facing a situation where the chances of success seem slim. And lastly, a fight scene with a huge creature. It's a moment of true challenge when the characters come face to face with their fears or the enemy. In a moment of crisis, there is a cry. Even though the turbo babe left his body, the curse won't let up. Words full of despair and struggle against an unknown threat. I have that part of it now. Perhaps someone has acquired a new power or burden, carrying both power and responsibility. The curse of his part will not leave him. The phrase reflects the gravity and inevitability of some condition or duty from which one cannot escape. And finally, "This place is too far for me. If you want him back, come to the tunnel." Words that offer a path or challenge that can lead to a resolution of a situation or the next stage of a journey. The cryptic invitation echoes in the void, "Come there and I'll entertain you as long as your heart desires." Words full of manipulative, enticing promise offering temptation and perhaps a hidden threat. A conflict full of heated emotions. "Who are you calling a toothless witch, you old mouse?" There's a sense of a heated argument where every word can become a weapon. "Give him his thingy." Sounds like a demand for the return of something important, perhaps stolen or lost. A cry of despair, "Kyaya, pierces the scene, reflecting the character's deep pain or consternation. It could have been a moment of encounter with something unforeseen and dangerous that made him exclaim like that. And in conclusion, the words, "What a load of crap." Here someone may be giving up or expressing his disappointment in a development that has brought not success and triumph, but fatigue and frustration. The character's revelation sounds heavy. "Because they kidnapped me, now I believe in aliens." It may be a moment when an experience turns his worldview upside down. The next one speaks of the turning point, "Because one will be all in me, and I believe in ghosts now." These are the words of a man who encountered the unexplainable, and it changed his beliefs. The dialogue reflects confusion. "I don't know myself, so what are we going to do?" Here the characters are searching for solutions while standing at the crossroads of uncertainty. The moment brings us into a situation where one of them takes on the role of defender. "I'm sorry. I need to keep your curse under control or you'll go berserk." These are words of responsibility and apprehension, of the need to control forces that may be too dangerous for others. The character says with sadness in his voice, "My uniform, my wallet, my phone, it's all gone." Her frustration and hopelessness after losing important things is palpable. The dialogue continues, I see, then I'll be gone for a while. It seems someone is making the decision to leave to deal with the problem. Discussion of action plans and possible solutions. She put it on you to feed the turbo babka for peanuts, of course. Involves fighting some kind of curse or evil. The words sound urgent. Put on my clothes and go home, Ayase-san. Wait, if I don't stay with you, you'll freak out. It indicates the importance of one character's presence to another, perhaps to contain or control the situation. And a confession. I can't involve you in this anymore, Ace-san. Everything happened because of my fault. Indicates a sense of guilt and responsibility, a desire to protect others from the consequences of their actions. The character says of his plans, maybe sometime upstairs to brave the tunnel and then I'll deal with it myself. She is determined to confront the unknown, preparing to face something uncertain that lies ahead. Further dialogue underscores the seriousness of the situation. And by the way, if I hadn't been there, you could have died. Doesn't it seem like we should be working together? It is an expression of anxiety for the fate of a comrade and the realization that they need to act together to overcome the coming difficulties. Tension in the relationship. God, enough of this. Are you sure about that, even if you want to work with me? Here one of the characters may be doubting himself or herself, or the correctness of a proposed plan. And there is a call to action. I'm sorry, come on, get dressed and let's go already. Here one character is pushing the other to act hastily, emphasizing the urgency of the situation. The character says with bewilderment and some sympathy, awkward guy. Perhaps he is assessing someone's clumsiness or expressing concern. The girl seems puzzled. Her, suggests perplexity or a sudden realization of some situation that requires her attention. A call to order. Ayase-san, put it on, otherwise I'll have a hard time talking to you. This indicates some discomfort and a desire to restore normal communication. Inner turmoil. Why is my heart pounding like this? It can't be. The character encounters unexpected emotions, perhaps related to intimacy or caring for another. The character is a girl. The confusion is readable on her face. I'm just a little embarrassed because he accidentally said Takakura Kenza State, that's all. It may be a reaction to an unexpected confession or an awkward situation. The guy trying to keep his composure says, just calm down. By the way, can you remind me what your name is? You can see that he is trying to move the situation to a calmer place and restore dialogue. What follows is a confession. See, I'm not good at remembering names. That's right. He is faced with his own inadequacy, which prevents normal communication. And a final clarification, my name is Takakura Ken. It's establishing an identity that may be important to the further development of their relationship or plot. In the manga world, drama and mystery are intertwined at every turn. The girl, with her mouth open and eyes wide open, exclaims in disbelief and shock. She can't believe what she's hearing, and her horror is written right on her face. The next moment shows us a young man who seems to be at the center of this storm of events. He adjusts his glasses, trying to understand the situation. His name is Takakura Ken. You can hear the uncertainty and need for explanation in his words. Then we are transported to a scene where terror and panic take over the characters. One of them is desperate and afraid to escape the inevitable, while the other character, screaming in terror, seems to have already faced something threatening. And finally, we see desperate calls to action. Asagi-san, hurry up, shouts one character to the other, and they both face a dark, ominous figure looming imperiously over them, driven by cries of fear and urgency. The young man suddenly falls down as if his strength was leaving him. Thank you. A barely audible gasp escapes his chest as he tries to rise, his body arching in an unnatural pose, reflecting the struggle and pain. The girl with a determined expression puts conditions on her face. Let's set the rules. She looks like she has the situation under control, and her words sound like a sentence. The male character looks startled. His eyes are wide with surprise or fear, and he screams, "Your name is forbidden." It looks like some important restriction has been placed on him. And then, in a dark alley, the two of them are walking together, and the girl, keeping her resolve, says, "You name it differently, and you're dead." The young man, frowning, replies, "Pop, in a different way. That's my real name." He looks devastated, but acknowledges his plight, following her with an uncertain gait, saying, "Oh, Okarun." The character with the glasses reclines his head tiredly and utters, "Still, it's not like I have a choice," and adds thoughtfully, "Well?" He seems resigned to a certain inevitability that hangs in the air. In the next moment, he faces a defiant challenge. "You F asterisk, keying F asterisk, CK me right in the face. Loser?" Emotions are running high around him. Okaran, you seem to like it." Whether it's a joke or mockery, it's hard to tell, but the tension between them is palpable. and then a surge of anger and bewilderment. Are you sure? He can't believe what's happening, which means the Turbo Baba won't be coming out again. Sounds almost like a judgment call. Whoa, shake it. Whether someone is admiring or mocking, it's hard to tell. Finally, there he stands, dressed like a schoolboy, looking lost and haggard. You look crappier than any of them, the girl says, pointing at him. Yeah, ghosts can only come out at night. Do you want to hang out at my house until dark? Her offer sounds like an escape from the troubles that have just befallen them. He takes off his glasses and says confusedly, wait, why are you only telling me now? His interlocutor cautions, careful, my grandmother is very prejudiced against guys. His anxiety is palpable. The young man suddenly lights up. The flames encompass him as if reflecting an internal struggle or conflict. Then the girl watches in horror as the ground beneath him cracks, exclaiming, Whoa, what the fuck? He repeats in shock. He soars into the air by some unknown force, and she cries out in panic, trying to reach him. The situation is getting out of control. The guy in the air, in the face of a raised thumb, hears, Are you okay, Okarun? It almost sounds like a joke on the edge of reality. Meanwhile, a strange object with the inscription, Ganza Daishi drives away evil, mad spirits attracts attention. The mystical amulet seems to be connected to what's going on. Guy landing apologizes in a panic. I'm sorry, Okarun, I thought I was going to die. His fear is replaced by relief. The girl holds the object tightly and thinks determinedly, I guess if I take it off for a bit. Perhaps she had found a way to control the chaos around them. She turns to the guy. Is it really safe? He hesitantly replies, Yes, try it now. It's soothing. Aha, if anything goes wrong, just fly back into the river. He pulls his hand forward, concentrating, checking to see if the same old thing will happen again. Suddenly he takes off and she cries out in fright, Ooh, 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 ooh. Strash new. He already in the air excitedly asks, How are you feeling? Has something changed? Guy lands a glancing blow and notices with dismay, My whole body feels like it's tingling. New sensations overtake him after strange events. She shouts cheerfully, yelling, Come on, what's wrong with your head? His hairstyle had clearly changed. Your hair looks like a grandmother's. He is confused. Gah, why are you laughing? I almost died. She enters the house, calling out, Babu Ushka. But there was silence in response. She doesn't seem to be home. She turns back to him. It doesn't matter, come on up. His apology for his cheerfulness sounds insecure. In the room, he stands puzzled at the door. I'm going to change my clothes for now. Nuh-uh, close the door. She's calling the shots. Wait a minute. There comes a moment of respite after all the turmoil. He clumsily enters the room and she jokingly yells out, Yelling, your hair looks like a grandmother's. His reaction to the joke is nervous. Gah, what are you laughing at? She responds to his surprise. Don't you come in my house, you pervert. Although he tries to apologize, the tension between them is palpable. He shamefully turns away, saying, Look at the wall. She sighs, disgruntled. God, it's infuriating. After a misunderstanding, he says hopefully, The clothes are women's, but I guess they'll do. His hope for a solution is fleeting. He awkwardly puts on his shoes and gratefully says, Thank you. She notices the change. By the way, your thingy is gone, isn't it? He replies confusedly, Hey, what do you mean? The misunderstanding between the two continues. She sighs with relief. You can already do that. He, blushing, apologizes. Sorry, I'm not looking. She completes the fitting. Well, let me see. He's apparently wearing some of her stuff and she's assessing the result. He exclaims in horror, quoting Turbo Babka, I have his cock, the curse will not leave him. He finds the situation absurd and frightening. He tries to fix something on himself, feeling out of place. She asks apprehensively, Oh, really? He is equally shocked. What happened? Let me see. He reassures himself and her, If there's nothing there, it's all right, isn't it? And adds incredulously, As if I'd show you. What are you, stupid? The situation is becoming increasingly tense. She tries to calm the situation down. Haidna, he's at a loss. It doesn't matter if there's something there or not. She continues, It's not my fault, there's just a shticker. He despaired, What am I going to do now? He's gone. She reminds him of his idea. So you're the one who suggested the contest. He's indignant. Whoa. She dismisses his excuses. I didn't want to listen to your occult delusions from the beginning. He's defending himself. Who came at me like he was looking for a fight? She candidly confesses, I didn't want to miss the chance. His desire to understand and be understood is seen through his efforts. He explains, So I told myself to try. His desire for friendship is expressed by saying, I've always wanted to have friends. He continues, so desperate to talk. He is genuinely eager to communicate. That's exactly why. She laments the differences between the two. But as it turns out, it's like we live in different worlds. Someone like me shouldn't have come near you. There is a sense of melancholy and understanding in their conversation. She says with a note of regret, "I'm sorry I got you involved." Her words reflect remorse. He asks her to continue. "When it's over, you can ignore me again." Her response contains both a tacit confession and an offer of reconciliation. She notes his character. "You prejudge people's attitudes toward you, and you shut them out." His reaction expresses surprise and perhaps understanding. She shares, "You can't make friends by pushing them away." His gaze suggests that he's pondering her words. She offers to return to the previous topic of conversation. "Let's talk about occult stuff as usual." He reacts surprised, but apparently ready to continue the conversation. She teases him about his seriousness. Why so serious? His response is succinct. "Hey, say something." And here they are, already bickering like old friends. "You don't have an ounce of delicacy in you, Ace-san." He's desperate. "What the fuck did you just shit in there?" Their dialogue is full of emotion and contradiction. He seemed to find the strength to get past the awkwardness and made the decision to act. His nervousness is evident in the way he clutches the doorknob. She notices his determination and asks, "Is your grandmother back?" His gaze is full of questions, and he cautiously answers. She tells him to be quiet. "Shh, quiet." Apparently, she wants to prevent another embarrassing moment. She confesses, "Didn't hear that sound, I've never—" Her words bring mystery and expectation. What's going to happen next? She looks at him anxiously as she descends the stairs. "What do you mean?" Her gaze is full of excitement, and she seems puzzled. She reveals the secret of the house, saying, "That we have 2 bells." Her words are cryptic, and the anticipation in the air becomes palpable. He listens to her intently, concern in his eyes. She continues, "One is for the people, and the other—" And so she reveals a secret filled with mysticism and lore, for evil spirits. Her revelation sheds light on the unusual events that take place in this house. A young man and a young woman are trapped between the walls. She's frustrated. "Oh shit, because I broke the seal." He tries to cheer her up, begging for help. "Yeah, there's something outside." In a confined space with stairs, they discuss the next step. "Put the seal back where it was," he reminds us. She panics. "What do we do now?" And he warns of a lurking threat. "If there's an evil spirit outside, he'll be incinerated just like you." He is in the room, seemingly in a situation of danger or haste. "You better get out of here," he shouts, but gets an accusation. "Are you going to sugarcoat me too?" She gazes into the distance with determination, preparing for action. "Okay, if you can, wait until I take it outside," she says, showing her willingness to defy danger. The girl peeks out cautiously from around the corner, peering into the darkness. Her eyes read concern, as she faces the gloomy gates of an ancient temple drowning in the night. The next moment, she turns to her companion, who seems to be in a panic. "Ace-san, empty? Where is he?" She is tense. His face reflects fear. They are being stalked by unknown danger. Then they both stand on the threshold, the girl's gaze staring off into the distance. It's as if she senses an invisible threat, and the young man is puzzled. "Well," and suddenly the situation escalates. They are on the run, pursued by something terrifying. "Come on, let's get out of here. Fook, fook," he cries out in horror. "Come on, over there, hurry up." The girl's pushing him. They do their best to avoid the unknown danger lurking in the shadows of the night. The girl turns to her companion with intense excitement. "Now what now?" He replies in desperation. Ayase-san." The young man is in a complete panic, with terror in his eyes. "I can't get out." They both found themselves at a dead end, surrounded by walls. "We're trapped," he realizes. In the last image, the girl is huddled against the wall in terror, her face reflecting fright and despair in the face of an unseen threat. Suddenly, a new danger appears in front of the heroes. One of them looks at his hand and exclaims in horror, "What the what? Damn, this already sucks." Panic rising, the young man screams desperately, "Help!" The situation escalates. The girl tries to support her companion, who seems to be losing his strength. "Whoa, crow-o-ov. You okay, Okapuri? Hang in there." And at the most critical moment, her face reflecting maximum tension and anxiety. Something makes her flinch. The heroes face a new threat that envelops them in darkness. Black mist. It's because of him, the girl realizes. She realizes the gravity of the situation. Man, what to do? We stay here and we're sure to be... Their only path to salvation is the gate. The gate! I have to get there in time to hang the seal. Decisively, she thinks. At the last moment, the young man finds the strength to resist. "You won't make it. Wait, why?" The complex situation is reaching a climax. "If she stays in there, we'll never get out," realizes one of the heroes, looking at the wall in front of the gate. But the darkness is already revealing its face, Before them is a gigantic creature full of power and menace. "Here I found you." It accuses them. "You have broken your promise, bad people." The heroes come face to face with a monster who calls them cowards. The heroes are desperate to escape from a huge threat that stalks them with devastating force. "Leave me alone," shouts one of them, hoping for mercy. The girl doesn't lose her presence of mind and tries to find a way out. "Oh shit, what kind of spirit is that?" "Doesn't matter, do you have a spare?" "Of course not." Suddenly something unexpected appears in front of them, causing them shock and bewilderment. "Huh? It's an alien!" Their chase ends with a collision with something unimaginable. It's a fat boo monster, those gills without a doubt. The mystery of the situation deepens. First discovered near the American town of Elitude, it has been seen in Japan in Yamanashi Prefecture. Talk about the creature described as a 3-meter-tall apparition. Research suggests that those who see the supernatural tend to see him as well. "You mean aliens can use objects for spirits? What's the matter with the bell then?" The heroes come to realize that aliens and ghosts may have something in common. "So he's healthily connected to those aliens from yesterday? God, they're annoying." And they realize that they need to act immediately. "We need to deal with him sooner rather than later. Otherwise, the fog will get to us." The girl explains her predicament. "But while I'm suppressing the curse, Okarun, I can't use my powers." Her companion is overwhelmed with fear. "If you can release the curse, I'm afraid with him." She finds the courage to challenge. "What's wrong with you? I'm not afraid of aliens. Do you think you can suppress the curse in my head but leave the rest of my body to it?" The situation is escalating. The destruction is getting worse. The heroes must make a decision and act to survive and confront the mysterious threat. At a critical moment, the characters find a little bit of hope. "The odds are slim, but if you're lucky, you'll be able to control a turbo babka," shouts the girl as they both run from a giant stalker that destroys everything in its path. "Easier said than done. I haven't practiced my power yet," she replies, trying to remain calm in the face of imminent danger. The next moment, she's at a complete loss. "But I'm not sure, please." The tension reaches a climax as the young man falls, seemingly under the influence of some mystical force. The situation is escalating. They must act quickly. "Give them back!" I hear a loud order from a fearsome stalker. The situation is escalating to the extreme. Ayase-san, it's starting," screams the young man, gripped by fear in the face of impending danger. Total chaos. A huge creature with a gaping mouth and flaming eyes chases the heroes, who try to escape from it, consumed by fear and despair. The girl expresses her displeasure. "But I'm depressed as hell, fighting." His personality has completely changed. A young man shares his experiences. "What happened to your style of speech? My mind is clearer than ever, but the soul is crushed." The girl apologizes in shock, embarrassment, and fear written all over her face. She admits her mistake in the midst of the chaos. Her companion, in the heat of the situation, venting his frustration and fear, urges her to change her style of speech, expressing his frustration with the current situation. He shares his intention to act, although he recognizes that his abilities may not be sufficient to solve their problems. In the final moment, the girl's desperation incites him to act despite the danger that surrounds them. The demon is apparently confronted with an unexpected discovery or epiphany. Judging by his reaction, the girl, full of horror and disbelief, stares at the huge creature standing before her. Her expression shows deep shock and consternation. A demon looking at a turbo babka, wondering about its power. He looks puzzled, and at the same time amazed that his body is moving on its own. We see a turbo babe, tired and exhausted, cringing under the weight of her plight, saying, "It's fucking exhausting." The girl opened her mouth wide in surprise and shock, bewilderment written in her eyes. She seemed stunned by the speed of events and her words. "How fast? When did he have time?" reflecting the suddenness of what was happening in front of her. The next moment she seems excited and determined, looking up at the huge creature and crying out, "Wow, we might have a chance." It is an expression of hope in a desperate situation when they are facing a huge adversary. Then we see a moment of tension where the creature is perhaps comprehending pain or shock. His response is a loud and sharp cry of, "Gah!" suggests that it is in a state of distress or suffering. The girl turns to the creature, her face filled with worry and anxiety. She is clearly disturbed by the changes happening to the creature, and her words, "Hey, what's wrong with you?" show that she is puzzled and frightened by its condition. The huge creature is hunched over and seems ready for action, and a powerful blast of energy clearly makes it clear that a clash is coming. The girl faces the stage with her mouth open with fear and screams in suspense, trying to get the attention of her companion who is in immediate danger. Dynamic movement. One of the characters tries to dodge or fall to avoid being hit, while the girl looks on and yells, asking for his well-being. The girl stands over her fallen comrade, her face expressing despair and guilt. She apologizes for not being able to help him get rid of the curse. A young man is on the move with a dazed expression on his face. The text in clouds of lines emphasizes the intensity of his movement and the miracle that he remained unharmed. It was like he was almost torn to pieces. Human bodies aren't built for that kind of speed. The girl, angry and concerned, discussing a strategy of action with the young man. The creature in the same shot looks unshakable despite the little damage they've done to it. Girl with a shocked and worried face. Perhaps she realizes that she did not expect such hardship and suffering in this struggle. A girl makes an important discovery about a young man, which puts a new twist on their story. Her surprised "what?" emphasizes the importance of this moment. A huge creature with an expression of confidence that looks like it's on full alert. The two characters below are probably discussing a plan. One says, "if we get his hand to touch the ground," and the other seems confident of success, noting, "we're going to win, aren't we?" A moment of recognition by one character of another's brilliance, which may indicate an important idea or strategy in their battle plan. A moment of hope when one of the characters speaks of a last chance, while the other is thankful for the support, preparing for a decisive action. Finally, you can see the character about to confront the entity with renewed vigor and determination, while his comrade shouts for him to run. This creates a sense of urgency and danger in the conflict that is unfolding. One of the characters seems devastated and in despair, urging his comrade to leave him and save himself. He humbly says, "Man, you got me." At this time, another character looks at him with pity and determination, stating the need to get closer to the enemy. A dynamic moment where a character is in flight with a grimace of determination on his face, probably trying to perform a decisive action in a battle. A moment of tension when a giant creature, seemingly invulnerable and powerful, looks at its smaller opponent who appears about to do something unexpected and possibly decisive. We see a character desperately trying to hold a curse in an enemy's hand, while another character, already at the limit of his strength, reaches out screaming in terror or pain. It's a moment of true challenge for the characters. The girl runs forward with determination in her eyes, preparing for a decisive action, urging her partner who seems to be in a state of terror or shock. A moment of collision or fight where the giant creature's hand tries to grab, but it is stopped by a sudden barrier, and we see the reaction of surprise and shock on the monster's face. A girl who seems to be celebrating the success of her action. Her face lights up with joy and relief as she sees the monster's arm begin to disappear or collapse. The guy with the glasses screams with delight or excitement, perhaps confirming the accuracy and effectiveness of his plan as he observes the result of his actions. A monster that turns its head sharply to the side, causing its large-scale arms and the cables hanging from its shoulders to move sharply in the air, giving the impression of sudden movement or reaction to something unexpected. A girl with a mixture of surprise and fear on her face. It sounds like she is shouting to someone, perhaps calling them to action or warning them of danger. We see the same girl diving down, most likely trying to avoid some sort of danger or make a bold maneuver in battle. The moment a monster's arm strikes the ground or a structure, causing an explosion or powerful collision, emphasizing the creature's immense strength and mass. A moment of tense flight of a character with a backpack above the ground, creating a sense of his accelerated movement in a battle or chase, with emphasis on the details of his clothing and tense facial expression. A moment of confrontation where one character is yelling in a state of shock or panic, and the other, hairy and wild, seems also to be in a state of rage or fear, their emotions emphasizing the drama of the situation. The same hairy character appears in a calmer and more relieved state, with streams of energy or magic emanating from his body, which may indicate the completion of the transformation or the restoration of powers. A character wearing glasses who looks with surprise or alarm at his hand, spreading energy or force around him, which may indicate uncontrolled power or an unwanted effect. The character's face reflects horror, his gaze full of shock. The air vibrates with unheard tension. The words in the clouds speak of an unusual adversary, perhaps a hidden threat from another world. The scene shifts to a hand outstretched toward imminent danger. "Sly bastard!" curses the character, his face hidden, but his fingers contorted with tension as if he were resisting an elusive enemy. The third fragment reveals to us the back of a character who seems reckless or desperate. His words about the curse he is willing to invoke again, despite the risk to his own body, speak to his fearlessness and perhaps insanity. In the final installment, another character's face is revealed to us. He is panicked but also determined. The characters' interactions become even more intense when they vow to confront the threat, ready to fight to the end. The character's eyes are full of anger and determination. "You really pissed me off. Green bastard," he whispered through his teeth, as if challenging someone to a duel. The next moment is filled with action. Destruction, flying debris, The force of the impact is palpable even through the drawing. The energy of the scrimmage permeates every line of scrimmage. "That's not going to happen to me. Stop!" the character exclaims, apparently trying to stop the cataclysm that has already unfolded around him. Desperation and strength in his voice intertwined. "Release my curse, please. Come on, Mr. Asuka, just a little more and you'll be dead," shouted another character, inciting an ally. The fight is reaching its climax and the outcome is yet to be decided. The character is drawn in motion, as if she were floating in the air, her hair and clothes moving from a powerful gust of wind or an explosion, which adds to the drama of the events. The next moment captures surprise and fear, the character's face mottled with drops of sweat, his hand trembling. "I'm fine. Don't..." He's trying to convince himself and others that he's fine, even though his looks say otherwise. This much depth is enough. The words sound like a judgment or a decision, emphasizing the seriousness of the moment. Perhaps this is an indication of limits that should not be crossed. Which means the character prepares for action, his posture taut as a bow before an arrow is shot. Perhaps it is a harbinger of a decisive moment or an important revelation. The faces of the characters are distorted with fear. They are in a critical situation. "We're out of the gate," shouts one of them, emphasizing the urgency of the moment and the proximity of danger. A dynamic image shows a character falling or being pushed backwards. The emotion and movement is conveyed with amazing power and tension that envelop the scene. The character's gaze is full of horror and bewilderment. His movements are abrupt and chaotic, as if he is unable to control what is happening around him. With a cryptic symbol and the words, "Departure from this land, the abyss," adds an element of mysticism and ancient magic to the story, foreshadowing the unknown and perhaps a new chapter in this epic struggle. We see a monumental force that sweeps across the earth in a whirlwind of destruction, picking up everything in its path. The huge figure in the center recalls the encounter with the unbridled elements. The faces of the characters are contorted with horror in the face of impending disaster. Their emotions convey hopelessness and fear of the inevitable. The shot of the falling character absorbs the drama of the moment. It is like being sucked into a vortex that sucks in all living and non-living things. An oasis of calm after the storm. The character looks up at the temple, perhaps seeking refuge or answers after the chaos he has experienced. The world seems unchanged, but in the hearts of the characters will remain a trace of their experiences. Relief and fatigue are readable on the characters' faces. "Saved. We're back." Words full of gratitude for surviving life and coming home. Exhaustion is mixed with relief when one says to the other, "Look, encircled. We're back." His half-lidded eyes and tired voice emphasize the hardships they've been through. The emphasis on the words "curse" and "die" in the explosion indicates an ongoing threat or a sudden realization of a danger they narrowly escaped. The change of mood in the last shot shows a return to ordinariness as the characters exchange jokes and complaints of fatigue. It's a peaceful moment after the storm they've been through. The spirit of lightness and fun can be felt in the words of the characters. "I like Granny's wig better, though. You look cool." They're joking around, recovering from tumultuous events. The girl feels dizzy. Her smile and bewilderment indicate confusion or slight malaise. "Something, I'm dizzy." Possibly the effects of recent testing. The character's downfall is Ayase can mean a sudden weakness or a new turn in events that makes the characters anxious again. Surprise and consternation mingle on the character's face, shouting, "Ayase-san, hold on," speaks of a new threat or unforeseen danger that has put them at risk again. We see a character engulfed in a powerful vortex, which symbolizes the power and unpredictability of the events that have engulfed the characters. A figure with a balloon in his hands and the inscription, "Your age, the advanced stage 7 years," introduces an element of mysticism and prediction, opening a new chapter or challenge for the characters. The smile of a character saying, "I'll have an advance," may express a willingness to accept a proposed future, or an anticipation of the adventures that lie ahead. The scene takes us into a studio where the caption, "Impenetrable Medium," suggests that the characters have become part of a show or program, which could be a turn of fate or the next stage of their journey. The simple joys of life and its complexities are reflected in the characters' words. "I love ramen, you like curry." Ordinary preferences are transformed into symbols of their uniqueness. Dialogues, "I'm lonely, you have a wife and children," present the contrast between their lives, revealing different human experiences and states. The phrase, "Damn, that good-natured Santa sure is nuts," adds humor and irony, showing how the characters are trying to ease the tension of their recent experiences. Final words, "There's no way a young man like that has a family. Yeah, even I get it." Express sympathy and understanding, emphasizing the interconnectedness and support between the characters. The discussion of the TV show between the characters reveals their professional concerns. No one is going to complain about a small local TV show, of course. It implies a general confidence in their work. The dialogue in the cab continues the theme of media attention. "You're a good-natured Santa, aren't you, miss?" asks the driver, recognizing a character from a television show. The answer is, "Oh, wait a minute. I wasn't trying to be rude to you, just wanted you to show," expresses the apology and curiosity of the driver who apparently encountered something unexpected. With the stern warning, "If you don't want to die, get lost," creates a sense of danger and mystery, suggesting a potentially hidden history or deeper conflicts. A dark and intriguing scene unfolds before us. A menacing figure looms over the fallen character, which creates a tense and mysterious atmosphere. We see the same figure in full height, holding a weapon, which reinforces the sense of threat and danger. The image of a character in the air surrounded by destruction and chaos can symbolize a moment of confrontation or the culmination of a struggle. Someone remarks, Well, I thought she brought home another dancer." It may indicate a misunderstanding of the situation or a frivolous attitude towards a serious event. We see the continuation of the story with characters engulfed in intrigue and conflict. One character states, "But you're not human at all," which may indicate an inner epiphany or revelation. The next statement, "And my skin gets dry because of stress. Honestly, my granddaughter gives me nothing but trouble," presents a mix of personal experiences with family dramas. The character shown with the scythe screams, "Nege Ava," perhaps a cry or incantation, which adds an element of mystical or ritualistic action. Character walking down the path with a scythe over their shoulder hints at a conclusion or a new beginning in their journey, foreshadowing the next events in this tangled story. The character stands in front of a huge creature that inspires fear with its size and appearance, which creates a tense atmosphere. We see her confidently holding a scythe in her hand, which may symbolize her readiness to fight or defend herself. Astonishment, boy, emphasizes an unexpected moment of encounter with a monster that poses a threat or challenge to the hero. Dialogue, "What a warm greeting, too close, and I knew you'd hit from a blind spot," expresses the character's wit and readiness for battle, emphasizing her alertness and experience in combat. Here we see the culmination of the confrontation between the characters. One of them says, "The fish is hooked, you're trapped," which emphasizes his superiority in the current rivalry. A character standing confidently in front of a defeated opponent saying, "Try to step out of line and you're dead." This confirms his determination and control of the situation. The character asserts his authority by saying, "Because it's a barrier," which can mean setting boundaries or protective measures. Barrier power. If I stick the nail of protection in the ground outside the circle, the whole area around him will become a barrier. This represents the character's knowledge and strategy in using their abilities to protect or impact the environment. The scene unfolds further with the character asserting control over the situation by saying, "So the barrier too." Conversely, the nail inside the circle, suggesting that defenses work both ways. Her confidence in her defenses, "Then you won't be able to touch me because I protected myself with it." This indicates the strategic use of their forces. A confrontation between characters, one of whom is apparently confined by a barrier created by another character. The monster threatens, "I'll eat you alive. Don't think you can keep me here forever," expressing displeasure and a desire to be free. In this plot twist, the character with the scythe prepares for the decisive action. "Oh, I was going to not hold you, and to kill," she declares, revealing her true intentions. The character attacks, exclaiming, "That's it," is a moment of active confrontation when she uses her skills in combat. "Gra Arch, come on, stand up straight." The character continues his offensive, showing determination and strength. The final rejoinder is, "What is it, can't use your lauded speed, huh? An old witch is required." Emphasizes her superiority and perhaps mocking an opponent who fell short. Tension builds as the characters exchange barbs and threats. "A boring old hag calling me a witch? Strong," one of them says, perhaps mocking or assessing the situation with irony. "If you burn me, the cursed man dies too," warns another, indicating a connection between him and other characters that could mean undesirable consequences for all. "I will kill any scum trying to seduce my granddaughter, including people," the character declares, showing his determination to protect his loved one at all costs. A shot of you yelling "Wide Ma" and a quiet "Goodbye" can signal the end of a conflict when a character makes a decisive move, perhaps defeating an opponent or breaking the bond between them. We see a girl looking up in surprise. Her room is cozy, but something is clearly going wrong. The toys on the floor create a sense of serenity, but her gaze is full of anxiety. Her excitement intensifies. She hears something, and that sound clearly doesn't make her happy. Okarun? As if echoing in her head, signifying the unknown and fear of what was to come, which caused her anxiety. A view from over her shoulder reveals a TV scene showing the news. Despite the everyday scene, there is a sense that something is about to happen. Our heroine meets a character who seems to have come with an important case. "I'm wakatno watching," he says, but his insistence and the words, "I have more important business to attend to," hint at the urgency of the situation. The girl hears an unexpected question. "You went to the haunted house, didn't you?" Her shocked face reflects consternation and bewilderment. Have her secrets been revealed? The next moment shows her from behind where the conversation continues. "Why, yes. Well, I didn't, friend." She hears them discussing her and can't understand what it's all about. Suddenly, she decisively asks if the kid has been seen here. "I must be near him or there will be trouble." Her alarm is justified. Something seems to be really serious. Her grandmother laughs. "Bakatono is simply our people's treasure, he 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 he." His cheerfulness contrasts with her anxiety, adding levity and unpredictability to the story. She meets with an affirmation. "If you're talking about the ghost, I've got him down." The hardness of her words contradicts the anxiety in her eyes. She's trying to appear brave. Things heat up when the girl is faced with disbelief. What was that ghost? He had glasses, didn't he?" Her interlocutor taunts her, but she insists on her point. "I'm just a stupid loser after all," another character says, sarcastically reclining. On his face is an expression of calmness and self-assurance, contrary to the general bustle. And that's when it explodes. "When are you going to stop taking it all in, old card?" Her anger and desperation fuel the situation, demanding seriousness and attention to her words. In this moment, the girl confesses, "Ghosts aren't real, I was only pretending." Her tired look indicates that maintaining the mask is becoming a burden. The frame shows a mocking interlocutor who only says "grandma," as if evaluating her words and decisions while she is immersed in her thoughts. In the next image, the situation is reversed. "I was wrong, I'm sorry," he says, and we see the heroine bow her head in a bow, perhaps finding forgiveness and understanding in this. Finally, in the last frame, he asks the question she's been waiting so long to answer. "Please tell, what happened to the ghost?" His genuine interest gives her a chance to share the truth. The character sitting at the table utters, "Temple enrollment." They are words of decision, offering a path to redemption or perhaps a new beginning for the girl. It explodes, "Preben old witch." Her reaction suggests an inner conflict and an inability to accept an imposed decision. She continues, "If anything happens to Okarun, blame yourself." Her words are full of reproach and concern for her friend, indicating the depth of their bond. The shot takes us back to the opening scene again with the words "temple entry." Perhaps it's a reminder that some decisions are inevitable, despite protests and emotions. The girl runs with full abandon, her face reflecting urgency and desperation. She has to get somewhere as soon as possible, her every step filled with determination. "I didn't want to miss the chance," were the words that could describe her thoughts at that moment. She feels the weight of responsibility and the opportunity to change the course of events. She confesses, "It's my fault. I'm the reason he went there." Her realization of what happened because of her strengthens her resolve to act. He's just a guy who is loved by those around him and a welcome friend. And so she reaches her goal, shouting out, "Okarun! I'm sorry, Okarun." All her striving, all her actions are for this moment, for forgiveness and the chance to start over. A guy is sitting in a clearing, calmly eating a rice ball. His furnishings and facial expression speak of the serenity he found in this quiet corner. The girl looks at him with surprise and relief. Her eyes reflect joy and gratitude that he is safe. "I was sure I was going to kill you. You're fine," he exclaimed, tears of surprise and joy streaming down his cheeks. "Azg-san, thank the gods." His words are full of sincere gratitude for the rescue. The girl hugs him, trying to comfort and protect him. Hey, Azg-san?" Her question shows her concern and willingness to be a support for him. The guy bounces back in surprise. "What? I see you're not dead yet, Four Eyes." The lightness in his words hides the relief of the encounter. You're driving me crazy. I'm sorry, I'm going to throw it away," says the girl, her face reflecting excitement and worry. She clearly didn't expect this turn of events. "You scared me. Since when did you become friends with monsters?" He's still in shock from the sudden encounter, but his words indicate that there's a strong bond between them. And here they are at the temple where it all began. As long as it sits here, the curse won't break out, but literally step out of the temple and he'll turn into a monster. It is a warning of impending danger that must be overcome. "Why did you say you killed him, liar?" He is puzzled and angry, not understanding her words and actions. You look so desperate. Do you like guys like that? Her words are filled with irony and mockery, though she tries to hide her concern. And as long as he possesses it, the curse will not leave him. Trubo Babe said she took his thingy. Scraps of conversation paint a picture of how hard the curse is on him. Ho ho, I see, I still do. That's not what I meant. I'm responsible for that too. I just want to help him in some way. Conversation reveals that their relationship is much more complicated than meets the eye. By the way, I can use psychic powers now. What are you talking about? It heralds new opportunities that don't seem to be taken seriously. I managed to meet a UFO, something happened, and now I can use them. Her words are shrouded in mystery and disbelief, but there is sincerity in them. Yes, I understand you. Until yesterday, I thought the same thing. UFOs don't exist. Her interlocutor's skepticism seems insurmountable, but she doesn't back down. And how's that psychic power working out for you? I can't imagine what would make you believe that. If you don't suppress his curse, he follows through with a bender. Statement of her new power is accompanied by a practical recognition that they must use any means to help a friend. Long-standing legends and modern tales intertwine in their conversation. A long time ago, she was nicknamed Cobble 100 an Hour. But Trubo Babe, you've interfered with something serious. Tells one character discussing old myths and superstitions. I came to see what she was up to. The speedy sleepyhead started spending a lot of time in that tunnel. Hearing about her, the other continues, detailing the events that led them here. I couldn't even get close to the tunnel because I felt a strong presence in it. There was something strange. They discussed the unusual phenomena and sensations they experienced as they approached the site. The topic of attached spirits who stay in places with strong emotional attachments comes up in their conversation. It's a guess as to the reasons for their presence and possible connection to current events. Slowness here is tantamount to death. No Medlin would ever think of going head-on against them, the elders warn, and wisely so. The heroine of our story, a girl with an exciting look, knows the dangers that the darkness holds. There was a bound spirit, and inside the tunnel. Her words are interrupted as she gazes into the darkness. The tunnel walls, covered in thickets and ancient signs, seem to lead to answers. You know what that means? She turns to her invisible companion. But it is only when encountering the spirit itself, the wriggling essence filled with eyes and hands, that questions become answers. A summoned spirit? Connected to the Turbo Babel, she muttered, stepping into the unknown. The weight of choice and the gap between worlds becomes palpable. Don't mess with her. I don't want to lose my dear granddaughter, the wise elder admonishes, warning against a path that has brought only trouble. Confusion and fear in the young girl's eyes. Besides, you're not directly connected to this. Forget about him. Her heart wavering between curiosity and the desire to protect herself. Just go back to your normal life. The words sounded like a sentence. Fate seems predetermined, but the soul rebels against such a fate. I wonder what my dear Kazian-san did in that situation, ponders the girl, searching for the strength to make a decision that will change everything. Our heroine's inner voice is tormented by doubts. When I don't know what to do, I always think that way. And I've never regretted it yet, she reflected on how often her intuition had led her down the right path. She recalls the teacher's words. Xien-san would certainly have helped him. Her heart tells her that inaction is not an option for someone with her principles. The older woman, her gaze behind the thick glasses full of wisdom and experience, confirms, I did the same thing. This recognition of a dear one is inspiring, but a sudden rush of passion and confusion. Xien-san, so you like that boy, A question that wreaks havoc on her soul. No, I'm not talking about that Ken, she screams in desperation. The devastation and despair of miscommunication. Ah, no, damn it, I meant actor, she screams, hands in her hair, heart full of drama. The corner of the older woman's lips lifted in a smile. Well, okay, since you insist. A new chapter begins, full of unknowns and possibilities. You're going to have to play tag with a Turbo Babe. It's as if fate is throwing down a challenge and the decision seems like an incredible ordeal. If you piss her off, she'll follow you, the older woman's voice warns of the consequences, while the girl engages in a game full of risk. The task is outlined. You need to get the Turbo Babe out of town and, of course, not getting caught in the process. The voice of experience says, outlining the path. You two will have to run until you drop dead. The territory of the bound spirit is within the city of Hay. The risk is high, but so are the stakes. If you can lure a Turbo Babel out of tethered spirit territory, she'll weaken, and in that state even you two can defeat her. The plan sounds harsh, but doable. However, doubts grow. Nope, I can't. Look at how weak my legs are. I could never beat her at catch-up, bravery competing with realism. Suddenly an insight comes. Can't we just use the mascot, like hanging him in the tunnel? Sometimes the solutions lie on the surface. The answer comes sharp and uncompromising. Me? I can't help you with that, it won't work. The older one dismisses the mascot idea. If I leave Kamakoshi City, I won't be able to use them anymore. The power of my warjacks is simply borrowed from the god who lives here. She reveals her reliance on local magic. So we have our own territory too. Every place has its god. The words hint at the depth of the connections between the spiritual and physical worlds. If you start training your body now, you'll become strong enough to overtake her. Anyway, that's the only way to beat her, she prompts, pointing the way to self-improvement. We see the emotions and dynamics of everyday life. The first page shows a young woman whose surprise and confusion are expressed in her large open eyes and wide open mouth. She screams about her inability to become a champion, even with full commitment, leaving room for speculation as to who or what caused her excitement. The shot reveals another character, a boy in fancy glasses, standing next to a woman in aviator sunglasses, confidently chewing gum. His stare and uncertain posture might have hinted at his hidden role in the previous explosion of emotion. The same young woman, but this time her face expresses a sudden realization, perhaps related to the previous scene. The boy's inner thoughts. He is finally ready to join the conversation, but suddenly realizes that he has forgotten something important. The story leaves us in the dark about what this forgotten thing is, and how it relates to the rest of the story. The story continues, and we see the girl, relieved to talk about having to control her companion's curse. She does so with confidence, yet care, drawing attention to his lack of stamina. Then the picture changes, and we find ourselves in a Japanese temple where the boy offers to carry the girl on his back, hinting at the tedium of their life's journey. He cheerfully wonders if she's tired of living, and she seemingly agrees to his proposal. Next, the boy reveals the secret of his power, claiming that he can double it in curse mode. But his confidence is replaced by doubt when he recognizes that it may not be possible. And the woman in glasses reappears, her calm gaze and chewing gum providing a contrast to the tense atmosphere. She suggests he train to maintain power, adding a touch of rigorous realism to the story. The boy exclaims in surprise, realizing that training will begin right away. His face expresses shock at the surprise of the impending challenge. The girl is serious and determined about working on strengthening her abilities, setting the goal of becoming stronger than they are now. Her gaze is full of determination and inspiration. The woman with the glasses is not without stiffness, stating that since she can't directly help them, the only way is to get stronger, and she will make them work without respite. And at the end, with some uncertainty but also relief, a break in training is announced until tomorrow. This gives the characters and readers temporary relief and a chance to prepare for the challenges ahead. The girl, covering her face with her hand, rejects the unexpected compliment addressed to her grandmother. While the boy looks confused, like he's just made a mistake, he turns to her, apologizing, and her reaction is a mixture of surprise and curiosity, as if she didn't expect such words from him. He then goes on to say that he was so consumed with his own problems that he forgot about the feelings of others, even while fighting a terrifying foe. He recognizes that she helped him and defeated the monster, but the most important thing he recognizes is her friendship and support through these trials. The girl earnestly states that she will do everything she can to help him, but cautions that if the situation happens again, she expects a different outcome. The boy, with worry on his face, expresses his desire to maintain the friendship, begging her not to stop being his friend despite past mistakes. She notes, with notes of surprise and tenderness, that his fears are unnecessary and that she is not disappointed in him, which confirms their bond. In the final scene, he, with surprise and bewilderment, tries to understand why she has suddenly blocked his way, which she will apparently answer in the next chapter of their story. The girl, clasping her ear in embarrassment, guffaws at his words, continuing the play on words that had already begun between them. The boy, feeling clumsy, apologizes for his recent behavior and his face expresses genuine regret. The girl jokingly teases him by making a remark about his behavior during the fight, but emphasizes that she will still be there to help him again. And the final shot shows her leaving, promising to bring him a futon so he can rest, symbolizing their trust and understanding so important in friendship. The boy, taking off his glasses, seems to be trying to gather his thoughts, his face portraying confusion and embarrassment. He whispers her name as if seeking support in her. She, with a strong reaction, screams his name, perhaps in response to something unexpected or disturbing. Then we see her hold out a glass of water to him, offering help and comfort in his anxiety. The other girl asks if she can take his tea to him while the older woman rests and mentions breaking news, adding a new element of intrigue. And so the news is revealed on the TV screen, talking about a secret incredible child, possibly hinting at future events in their story. He felt out of place in the noisy audience, his words drowning in the endless chatter. "I don't care about this celebrity assessment," he whispered, but was interrupted by laughter and jokes about curry instead of ramen. Suddenly a scream cut through the air. "Asa, ah, ah, ah." A sudden surge of emotion pushed his thoughts of food away. What could have caused this reaction? "Oh, Karan," whispered the masked figure that represented the embodiment of his concern, and his heart sank. Oh no! Everything around them lost meaning in the face of an unknown challenge. What awaited them next? He ran down the corridors, traversing the steps in 2 strides. "Gotta go to the bathroom." It was desperate, because even the most ordinary human needs can cause disaster. Outside, the girl was screaming in panic. "I told you this was a bad idea." Her friend, despite her misgivings, rolled around on her skateboard saying, "No, you can't. Let the mother." When disaster is near, even the most unremarkable moments seem iconic. "If I lose my salary because of some obstacle," he thought, remembering the curse that had broken loose again. For some, however, it was only entertainment. "Well observed," one said sarcastically, watching the chaos. "Long story short, I love watching Okaran handle the need." Someone found it fun. The girl was shocked by everything she saw. "As if I'd let anyone look at me." She resented it. "There's no way in hell I'm watching him do his thing." Meanwhile, others were looking for solutions. "Can something be done about it?" one of them hesitantly asked. "I don't know," replied the other. "For starters, how do you control the curse?" Okaran stood, surrounded by a strange glow. "I see a bluish flame inside Okaran. Blue hole cloud, I guess." He spoke thoughtfully. Control seemed possible. "And when I squeeze that hole really hard, it's shrinking." The discovery gave hope that the curse was under control, sort of. "Everyone has an aura." The masked figure began looking at Okaran. "But the colors are different." She seemed privy to secrets he didn't know. "I can control their auras, and digest them as I please." In her eyes flashed an understanding of secrets Okarun could only dream of. "I thought psychic powers were supposed to be insanely strong. Yours is severely limited," she said, addressing her unseen opponent. "When my abilities first manifested, they were much better," another girl recalled, trying to justify her current limitations. "In the whirlwind of events, she soared as if freed from earthly shackles. Back then it seemed like everything I imagined was becoming real," she said dreamily, immersed in her memories. "And that's it now, I can only manipulate the auras," the masked figure sadly stated, "but they weakened pretty quickly." "I can't! The curse is out of control again," the girl shouted in despair, feeling her powerlessness before the unruly force. "I mean, you can't rely on your eyes alone. Try using your other senses. Touch, for example," the masked one advised, trying to instruct. "If you can take auras, you can feel them too," she said, encouraging Okaran to try out a new way of controlling her power. "Feel his aura on your skin," she continued, learning to feel not only with her eyes but with her body. And so he tried it. His hands, like antennae, felt the flow of energy. The flames of his inner world began to contract to tame. "It's cold," she whispered faintly, sensing a change in the atmosphere, a vibration in the air that had escaped her attention before. "Now close your eyes." "Slowly," she admonished, teaching him to explore the dark corners of his soul without the aid of sight. "Feel her, tap her," she continued, pointing to the subtle path between physical and emotional perception. Okaran's hand slid gently through the air, as if he could touch the very essence of his curse, taming it, understanding it. "He's turning, Asasa'a." Suddenly there was a scream, and the image that he had been trying to suppress surged into the air, embodying his fear and despair. "Oh shit," the girl summarized, trying to assess the situation with humor, but the tension was palpable. "I'm failing." Okaran was on edge. His attempts to control the force seemed futile. "I'm almost at my limit. I can't take it anymore." A cry of despair burst out of him while he tried to maintain decorum. "I don't want anyone watching me go to the bathroom. You told me to try it. What now, Momo?" He looked for excuses, but the girl was already aware of his cold aura. "I used your restroom. Hey, wait. Where do you think you're going?" She tried to keep the situation under control, but she understood his urgency. "But I'm also going to piss my pants, too," he added, displaying the whole gamut of human emotion in one little adventure. "I have no choice. I'm with you." Okarun chose action in the face of the imminent, and they raced together through the corridors. "What are you, stupid? The turtle will be out soon, any moment now," yelled one of the girls, warning of the inevitability of what was about to happen. "Who gave permission?" shouted the other, surprised at the sudden haste of his actions. Stop, Takakura life, I'm gonna shit myself. Don't think you can outrun me in this house. Okaran struggled with reality, trying to maintain his dignity in a ridiculous situation. Toilet? Ha! Not on my shift. I can do it, he shouted, trying to cover the last meters to his goal. And so, just before the finale of this race, Okaran reached his goal. Toilet! Solemnly proclaimed her friend, celebrating his small victory. He sank to his knees, weary but relieved. How humiliating, he muttered, getting in touch with a side of humanity he'd rather forget. I don't want to hear you say that. The girl turned away, her feelings wavering between sympathy and embarrassment. Seriously? Until now I wanted to experience the unknown. Like being abducted by aliens. He couldn't help but think about how sometimes the adventure you want turns out to be nothing like you imagined. But this is too much. I just want to get rid of the curse as soon as possible. Okaran dreamed of a simple life, far from the surprises his condition carried. You did say that you felt inadequate at the time you got your abilities, right? Momo reminded him, trying to find the key to his problem. It looks like they were blocked somehow. It was most likely your natural abilities, she reasoned, assuming they could be controlled and used consciously. You'll have to practice step-by-step releasing the power, she advised, pointing down the path of discipline and self-control in dealing with his curse. So they're just going to watch me like this while I go to the bathroom? Okaran asked with a hint of sarcasm as he faced the reality of his new watcher. I don't know how long it will take. This is my fence, Momo replied judiciously, pointing to her boundaries and giving him space. Well, it's going to take time to train the kid too, so you've got that. She tried to clarify his new schedule. I had that when... the girl began, but her thought was interrupted by Momo's sudden shout. Wait, Grandma, your nose is bleeding. Granny, Turbo Granny, she's here. Okaran shouted fearfully, his attention shifting abruptly to the unexpected danger that had materialized in the doorway. Surprise swept over everyone when the monster at the entrance turned out not to be a grandmother. It's my curse, with crying as my mediator. Okaran's voice came from behind the closed restroom door. Time moves only for you and me, he continued, as if there was hidden wisdom in the curse that he was just beginning to understand. I'll let you choose how she dies. Serious attack, disappear. His words were determined to free himself from this burden, even if it required a drastic solution. Bastard, what did you do to Grandma? Momo cried out in horror, thinking of the real grandmother who might have been in danger from Okaran's unexpected twist of the curse. Don't push your luck, you won't have time to train. The cryptic curse seemed to foreshadow something inevitable, a threat that couldn't be ignored. Come to the tunnel tonight. If you don't come, I'll use the boy to kill everyone around him. The voice inside Okaran grew more and more demanding and dangerous. Tonight's the night, got it? The words were addressed to Momo, who stood in indecision, weighing the risks and consequences. The restroom door slowly opened and Okaran appeared in it, full of determination and focus. Everything was ready for the decisive clash with the unknown. An unexpected scene opened up in front of them. Okaran looked at Momo in amazement when he saw the blood dripping from her nose. Oh, blood! Without hiding her excitement, she shouted out. What? Momo was clearly stunned. She hadn't expected such a turn. Grandma! Her surge of emotion was as strong as her concern for her grandmother. Your ears are bleeding too. You don't have a headache. Her anxiety was increasing by the second, foreshadowing something far more serious than just physical symptoms. Tell me what happened, she insisted, searching for answers and understanding of what was happening while her own anxiety and fear was reflected in the mirror. I don't see anything, Momo said, trying to discern an underlying threat. Do we have to wear this? Her doubts reflected a general bewilderment. It's a psychic vest, keep them on. She emphasized the seriousness of the situation, the preparation for the upcoming encounter with the unknown. It's like sending you to an unscheduled wrestling event. You two aren't ready. If you're not careful, you could easily be killed, she warned, sensing potential danger. And stop joking around. There's no such thing as aliens. Yes, I know. We were weak, but we've beaten aliens before. She recalled past victories, trying to inspire new accomplishments despite the fear and uncertainty hanging in the air. I don't want to listen to a lecture from an old witch. Let's go, Okaran, Momo said, decisively interrupting the argument. She was determined to act rather than engage in endless debate. Ah, help already, shouted Okaran, appealing to the unknown presence for help. His despair reflected the threat that hung over them both. Never listened to me even since she was little. That's why you always cause trouble, the mysterious voice replied, indicating the need to listen and learn from past mistakes. Well, Momo, don't die, she called out to the powers that could help them in this situation. She realized that something much more was at stake than just their own safety. Momo addressed the powers above with a prayer. Please, protect these two. Her words were filled with sincere hope of salvation. The next image shows them scrambling through public transportation in a hurry. It's too far on a bicycle, Okarun exclaimed, determined not to waste a second. Why are we taking the train? Momo asks, worrying about the time. She has no intention of falling behind, determined to fight. I won't let a turbo babe get off that easy. Her determination shows an unyielding spirit. I'm sorry, it's all because of me. Nope. Okarun agonized, feeling guilty for the situation they were in. His fear and guilt is palpable in every word. Momo, gathering his wits, prepares to face the unknown. That witch was trying to hurt someone I care about, she says, implying that she won't let the threat hurt her or Okarun. I'm kicking her ass, so let her smear it with Vaseline at least. Her words show determination and bravery, a willingness to fight. Arriving at the location, Okarun and Momo look at the tunnel. Okay, we're here. Momo is ready for the challenge ahead. Nope, ladies first. Go first, Okarun, she says, nudging Okarun forward, indicating that he should be ready to face the curse face to face. Momo, turning his attention to Okarun, jokingly says, Look, you made me cry, pointing to his eyes where there are no tears but concern. Walk beside me. Wait, Okarun, you're coming up behind me. She insists as they face the unpredictability of the dark tunnel, and Okarun tries to keep up. Honestly, unfairly, Ayase-san, Okarun protests, not wanting to be pushed aside during their journey together. Wait, let's go already. Momo shows patience, trying to calm him down while maintaining their overall mindset of overcoming the obstacles ahead. In a whirlwind of fast-paced events, our heroes face an unusual problem. So what do we do if the Turbo Baba shows up again? Asks one of them, implying that the solution may be radical. But another objected, suggesting a more peaceful solution. No, we must lure her out of the hay and tear her away from the summoned spirit. This dialogue emphasizes the importance of finding a balance between strength and intelligence, between action and reflection. Meanwhile, the plan begins to take concrete shape. A map with routes indicates a challenging path, but also a belief in success. Got it. And even we can narrate it. If we can do it, the Turbo Babe will weaken, they say, looking off into the distance, anticipating the challenge ahead. They realize that strength lies not only in physical might, but also in cohesion and mutual aid. In the end, the spirit of competition and camaraderie leads them to victory. That's how we're going to beat all the odds in Turbo Babka, exclaims one, full of optimism. And the other adds, admittedly, but we've already defeated that huge monster. Their words carry the realization that sometimes the biggest victories are the ones that happen within us. Amidst the darkness and uncertainty, our heroes continue their journey. One is reminded of the humanity of their task. If we can handle that big guy, she should be easier to She's just a plain old woman. These are words not only about the task, but also about compassion, about the importance of looking behind the facade of hostility and seeing the person. They stand on the threshold of a dark tunnel, their silhouettes carved against the mysterious light at the end of the path. This test is a symbol of overcoming difficulties, a symbol of their courage and determination. The faces of our heroes reflect excitement and fear of the unknown. Nothing comes out of them in unison, face to face with what they cannot understand or control. Their response is a reminder that fear is part of any struggle, but should not rule it. But even in the face of the unknown, they don't back down. Well, what should we do, Ayase-san? A question filled with despair, but also hope. We should lure her out of town, right? Suggests a plan of action. Words become action and they don't wait. They act quickly. This is a story of how even the darkest night cannot smother the light of hope and friendship. Tension rises, as does the fear of what awaits the characters in the dark. Why are you yelling? Doesn't stand alone when they encounter unexpected danger. They both feel something big and unknown approaching, something that makes the heart freeze. And now the source of their terror appears before them, a giant face blocking their path. This ordeal in the form of a Turbo Babe, beyond their worst imaginings, is terrifying and delightful at the same time. From inside the endless circular room, they can see that the Turbo Babe isn't just a figure in the tunnel. She's part of it, massive and unyielding. It's time for decisive action, and the heroes must use all their courage to confront her. She's watching from over there. She can do that too, they exclaim, stepping back. It is the moment of truth when they realize their opponent has unexpected abilities. The outcome of their adventure depends on this revelation, and they must act quickly and decisively. At the culmination of their ordeal, in the face of a huge challenge, our heroes find the strength to fight. "It's all taken care of," declares the girl, aiming at her opponent while her companion, stunned, screams in terror. The next moment is breathtaking. Magical powers come to their aid, and the magic wands fly swiftly toward their goal. "Take that!" she shouts, driven by determination and hope. The collision with magic and reality recreates a majestic battle scene where metal pierces a huge face in a tunnel, causing wonder and fear in the characters. Their views reflect their defeat, but also their determination not to give up. "Ayase-san, unleash the curse!" exclaims one, realizing that they might actually win. However, their opponent doesn't give up so easily. Their shock at her resilience and ability to keep fighting heightens the tension of this epic battle. The battle reaches its climax. The heroine, focused and determined, shouts out, "All right, counting on you!" Her words are filled with determination and hope for victory, for support from her companion in the fight against a powerful enemy. In response to her call, he, filled with fear but not lacking in determination, cries out, "I'm performing to the fullest." It is a reflection of their team spirit and ability to act together even in the face of the most daunting challenges. However, when faced with the reality of danger, his fear takes over for a moment. "I thought I wasn't a fearmonger." His words are shaky, but you can hear the fear in them as well as the self-awareness. At this critical moment, he faces his own fears, which is an important step in any heroic journey. And yet, amidst all the chaos, there is room for irony. "You're the first pessimist in the neighborhood in that uniform," says one, to which the other grimly agrees, "Ah, right." This exchange instantly highlights that even in their darkest moments, there is room for humor to help keep their humanity intact. Their struggle becomes more and more desperate. "God, this kind of pressure is killing me. I've got your back, now show her who's boss," cries out one, trying to find the strength to resist the unbelievable pressure of the enemy. The next moment is full of surprise. His companion, as if confused, loses his balance. This reaction shows that even the strongest and bravest can become confused in the face of the unknown. "Huh? No way, wait a second." He cannot believe what is happening, but neither does he give up hope that he can understand and overcome the challenge facing them. "I can't see him. Why?" Question, full of anxiety and confusion, shows that a crucial part of their ordeal is not only a physical battle, but also a battle against their own inner demons and fears, which can prove to be a more difficult opponent than any external enemy. In the heart of the conflict, when the air is filled with the electricity of impending battle, the unbelievable happens. "O Karun, the curse is dissipating," says the guy, and his words are full of amazement because the magic power comes directly from him, unknown but powerful. The enemy, a huge face in the tunnel, acknowledges the event. "The curse is gone. I gave him back some of it." These words reveal more than a struggle, revealing the truth of a power that has been hidden or lost. "So you can use the curse to transform like this," the Turbo Babe continues, presenting the heroes with a paradox before them. Their adversary seems to be not only testing them, but also teaching them, providing them with opportunities for growth and understanding. Their faces express shock and bewilderment, like "I'm letting you use my power, but not on my watch." The duo is defiant. These words hint that their ordeal was something of a test or training, that they became stronger not only physically, but also spiritually. In this discovery lies the key to their growth and understanding the deep lessons that lie ahead. In the face of unimaginable power that seems insurmountable, the Turbo Babe challenges, "Now I'm going to pull you both through." This statement is loaded with meaning. The ordeal is not over, and now it requires even more courage and fortitude. The new character introduces an element of wisdom. She does not doubt her feet. If you piss her off, she'll follow you. This caveat emphasizes the importance of strategy and understanding the nature of the enemy in a fight. Turbo Babe confirms their fears. "What, are you afraid you're going to lose to us on your feet?" Her words carry a challenge and a suggestion. It's not only a battle of strength, but a contest of speed and agility. "Then there's no way you're giving up the speed contest." The guy's words sound like a confession of defiance. "Well, your name is Turbo Granny, right? Use power like that, it just sucks." It is an expression of their willingness to accept a challenge, however difficult, and their desire to overcome it with honor and dignity. The heroine, in a full gathering of willpower and courage, answers the challenge. "Test us in a game of speed. If you're really a Turbo Babe, show us the turbo." Her challenge throws down the gauntlet to the invisible force before them, ready to fight it at its own game. Turbo Babe, for her part, seems adamant and confident in her abilities. Her gigantic form dominates the space, as if personifying the unyielding obstacle in front of the heroes. The scene transforms and the Turbo Babka takes on a new form, a reminder that strength and wisdom can manifest in the most unexpected ways, and that the challenge may require more than just physical speed or strength. Yeah, my legs won't lose to anyone. Who are you too much in awe of? Turbo Babka's words sound like an assertion of her invincibility and a challenge to the heroes to prove that they can surpass her, which is the ultimate test of their spirit and patience. Before embarking on a new challenge, the heroes find determination. Good, I'll play with you, the girl humbly but firmly declares, accepting the rules of the game the Turbo Babe has proposed. The guy exclaims with sudden confidence, I could still save you at any second. His words show that he has not lost his spirit and is ready for any challenge, even when it seems impossible. What are the rules? Where do we run to? The girl's questions show that they are seeking clarity on the rules of this unpredictable game, trying to understand the conditions in order to maximize their strengths. You catch us, you win. It's simple, huh? Playing tag. It offers a game that requires not only speed, but also cunning, dexterity, and strategy. It's a challenge level that requires them to use all their skills and knowledge to win. Excitement grows when the Turbo Babe sets conditions. Otherwise, you'll be remembered as the daring urchin of history. Keep that rule in mind no matter what. Tension is in the air. The stakes of the game are rising. She's not going to budge. When we launch, clock 10 minutes. The silhouette of a Turbo Babka in the darkness of the tunnel is a menacing reminder that time is ticking and every second counts. The heroes don't lose their resolve. Wow, I see you. I'm sure we'll measure you here, the guy yells. I know, but I should have made her count longer, replies the girl. They know they must utilize every second available to them to secure an advantage over the Turbo Babes. You're a genius, Ayase-san, she exclaims, simultaneously recognizing his cunning and their teamwork. They synchronize their efforts to overcome obstacles together. Turbo Babka starts counting down, her voice echoing in the space of the tunnel. 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 1 minute. It measures time, creating a tension that is felt by all present. That's an odd thing to consider, shouts the girl, trying to catch the rhythm in which the seconds of their ordeal are ticking away. This is an additional obstacle in their path, increasing the pressure. The struggle gathers momentum, the heroes struggling to keep up with the pace, but the Turbo Babe doesn't lose sight of her goal, manipulating time as part of her challenge. Ayase-san, Okarun! Exclamations reflect their growing anxiety and the realization that every step in this game could cost them success or defeat in this extraordinary race against time. The ordeal reaches a climax. Guy shouts his companion's name as she faces an obstacle that seems insurmountable, and his desperation is palpable in every sound of his voice. The Turbo Babka unwaveringly continues its strange countdown. 10 more minutes over, she says, and her words are full of cold-blooded calm while the characters are exhausted from the tension. She starts counting again, but her numbers seem incoherent and chaotic, which further confuses and frightens the characters, making them doubt their own chances of success. That's not fair. Let Ayase-san out. Guy realizes that the rules of the game have been changed right at the time of the game, and now they must resist not only the physical, but also the psychological pressure created by the Turbo Babe and her mysterious methods. The guy calls out to his companion with desperation in his voice, trying to stop the Turbo Babe. You're counting wrong! He reminds her of her promise not to break the rules, that she must count time honestly and consistently. Turbo Babe replies with a sly smile, as if toying with them. You only said to count out 10 minutes, not how to count them. She bullies them, enjoying her power and control over the situation. The guy indignantly shouts back, Stop counting, I'm serious. His voice reflects the growing anxiety and desire to end this nightmare as soon as possible. But the Turbo Baba doesn't give in to his entreaties. She continues her chaotic countdown, concluding with a statement, 10 minutes. Her words become fateful, concluding a test that has brought them all to the brink of their abilities and endurance. In the last act of this unpredictable ordeal, the girl, undaunted by her optimism, addresses her companion, though still a jerk. I know I'll save you again next time. Her words show endless dedication and faith in their team spirit. In response to her encouragement, the guy, full of determination, replies, Let me crawl your second. He's ready to take on the challenge and utilize every opportunity to win. The situation escalates when he physically attacks the Turbo Babe, showing not only his courage but also his desperation. Yukara! His scream reflects the intensity of the moment. Turbo Babe, in turn, leaves no chance for easy victories. You can't make up my neighbors when you're in a fight, asshole? You said so yourself. She reminds them of the rules they have made for themselves, emphasizing that every action has consequences. It's a reminder that in every challenge there are lessons to be learned. In an epic clash, a guy fights with frenetic energy. You bloody hell! Whoo! He shouts, challenging the Turbo Babka with unwavering determination despite the clear superiority of his opponent's strength. I won't back down until you let Ayase-san out. His words show resilience and dedication. He is willing to go to the end to save his comrade. No way! It's clothes! The heroine's reaction indicates the shock of a new discovery that could completely change the course of the battle. God damn it! Hell made me do it. I'll just turn into a ghost and possess you. Turbo Babka uses an unexpected move that could turn the game in a completely different direction, applying his secret powers for a complete transformation. The strength with which the hero meets this new challenge shows that not only physical might, but also fortitude have collided in this battle. In the bleak streets of an unknown city, a tragedy of transformation unfolded. Despair and fear fill the look of a man whose eyes are full of terror and disbelief. The fire that devours his essence lights up the night, and his screams echo in the soulless walls. But it is not a simple flame. It is the fury of the curse, distorting its form, turning it into something else, unknowable. Silhouettes of strange creatures, like demons from ancient legends, embody ancient horror. A real contagion in the building. Their scream pierces the night. Then another creature takes shape in the shadows, its outline filled with menace. No way! They can't be infected with those damn spells, can they? His words read of bewilderment and despair, for his clothes, seemingly simple, are now on him as a symbol of damnation. And at the end, the culmination of the mystical ritual. An obscure silhouette covered in spell symbols prepares itself for something unimaginable. Time to bring the girl down and call it a day. The words hang in the air, promising a new chapter in this dark saga. The spell intensifies, its victim struggling against invisible shackles. I can't move. I feel like I'm going to be crushed. Fear shackles him, and magic seems all-consuming. Hopelessness fills the air. The fire becomes its only witness. Who's here? What of you is capable of such audacity? Unanswered questions echoing in the void. The darkness gains a voice, and in it resounds a challenge to those who dare to awaken the ancient powers. A mysterious voice announces, "Can't see, but I know. I know everything." Knowledge without vision, wisdom accumulated over centuries, now concentrated in one being that faces the unknown. Because that's where the true form of Turbo Babka is. Right now, there's not his coal blue flame inside the surroundings. Words merge with the darkness, revealing the age-old mystery cloaked beneath ordinariness and delusion, shedding light on the hidden truth of this world order. The struggle is reaching a climax. With your skin! Asshole! Get your hands off me! Screams fill the space, scraps of phrases mingling with the noise of the fight, shadows struggling, magic emanating from every movement, every breath. The conversation is left behind. Now the action comes to the forefront. That's my line. Good job, Okarin. Thanks for your help, Ashi-san. Allies join forces, demonstrating the power of team spirit. But even in the midst of the battle, unexpectedly, a desperate cry is heard. To hell with it, let me out of the spiderweb now. Fear and panic are the constant companions of those trapped in the uncharted laws of this dark world. And suddenly, in a whirlwind of events, one hears the audacious certainty, "Got you, so. How would I get you to whine?" Sneer and contempt in every word, harbingers of a new, even more violent confrontation. The story reaches a climax. Bring Granny back! Bring her back! The desperate cries of children break the silence, their hands reaching for the departing light. It only takes a moment, and the power of their words can change destiny. A monstrosity born from the darkest corners of fear, stands before them. Huge, unshakable, but even he is unable to resist the echo of their screams. Bound spirit, kill them! Screaming faces contorted with terror. Doors open to a world where reality and fantasy intertwine, creating new horrors and new hopes. And once again, life is booming, even in the face of unimaginable horror. Laughter and hilarity find a place. After all, life is a game of contrasts, where light always follows darkness. Their journey continues, the race to save Granny. Forest shadows flicker around as the children run, filling the empty tunnel with their voices. When they find themselves face to face with a new challenge, a huge, motionless crab suddenly descends upon them, its claws threatening to drag them into the abyss. This way, yells the boy, motivating the girl to keep going. To get the old vermain in place, he shouts, but the words are lost in the echo of footsteps and heartbeats. Children face danger. Their courage knows no bounds. Okaran, you're turning to get the old vermain in place. They're ready for new feats of endurance against fear. In the blink of an eye, the setting changes. Ashi-san, hurry up! The boy calls out, struggling with a new, unexpected ailment. The situation is escalating. Every second is worth its weight in gold. The huge figure gathering around him promises new challenges. Here's the oh. His shriek rang out across the space while fear filled his eyes. The girl's courage is shown in decisive action. She attacks without letting danger intimidate her. The struggle continues. Their will to win is unbreakable. Again, a breath of relief. It was humid, almost here. One last breath before retreating from the edge of the abyss. They have endured. They have survived. Their spirit is unbroken. With each step, the tension grows. Don't think you can get by me anyway, the boy exclaimed, dodging the fearsome beast, courage and bravery in his voice. The girl finds the strength to joke even in the face of danger. Oh, I'm beginning to like it. It's so much easier to hold with your hands. She doesn't lose her presence of mind. But then reality intrudes with a new threat. Don't shout my name left and right, shouts the boy, trying to maintain control. And in the midst of chaos, when fear seems to have won, they soar over the city like birds. The freedom of their flight symbolizes hope and faith in the future. The fall is stopped by magic power. Your legs feel like trouble, exclaims the girl, looking in surprise at the boy's strange feet. They land in an alley. Are you okay, Okaran? She worries about his condition while an unknowable energy rumbles around them. Oh, that's right, you can only use your full power twice? She reminds him of the limits of their magical power as he struggles to stand on his feet. The moment of truth is coming. We had to try once, he admits, his exhaustion felt in every word. We had to come off hard, she adds, realizing that their journey is far from over. They once again face an obstacle, a giant monster that follows them inexorably. Ayase! A startled scream sounds in response to his presence. The girl is shocked by what she sees. Faces like masks peering down at them from below, creating the illusion of an invisible audience of their collision. Despite the threat, she finds the strength to make a joke. Look, he's riding her on his back, she comments as she sees the monster carrying another character. But there comes a realization of the gravity of the situation. Let the whole town come out, the boy calls out, urging everyone to witness their struggle. The fate of the city hangs in the balance. The characters continue on their journey, but this time they face a new challenge. They can't see the crab? Wonders the girl, noticing that the monster remains invisible to others. The situation becomes absurd. Then we look like some sighted lovers of guesswork, the boy joked, trying to keep his spirits up in the face of danger. However, the threat still hangs in the air. Momo-chan, I'm going to run out of strength soon, he warns. His energy is running out. Their time of testing is not yet over. Even that didn't help, it's still too far away. Despair overwhelms them. In the face of a seemingly imminent end, they realize that their struggle is not yet over. In a decisive moment of desperation and defiance, the boy boldly declares, I'd rather eat the crab myself. He refuses to give up without a fight, even in the face of a huge crab. The girl doesn't give up hope. Her words, I have an idea, sound like a light in the darkness, heralding a new plan or a possible solution to their problem. Under the pressure of the situation, the boy makes a decision. Okaran, let's go left. An order that could lead them to salvation or new trials. Their adventure enters an unexpected phase as they encounter the ordinariness of the real world, where business as usual continues. Welcome. How many tickets do you want? It's a contrast between their fantastic journey and simple everyday life. Finding themselves in danger, the children make desperate choices. Reservation for 2, shouts the boy, determined to use all his strength to fight the monster. The situation escalates. They look for a way out. If we find a narrow space, it will be harder for the crab to get us. The girl plans, looking for a strategic advantage. However, the solution comes unexpectedly. Or not, exclaims the boy as a new path appears before them. Their battle attracts attention, and they become the center of the spectacle for those around them, suddenly finding themselves in a place where the worlds of reality and fantasy collide. Their struggle moves to a new dimension where the water elemental takes over. It's hot. Where are we? Panic grips the boy as he realizes they are in an unknown area. Amidst a maelstrom of events, they are confronted with the reality of their situation. Ah! Something exploded, the girl exclaims, realizing the extent of the destruction. But despite the chaos, they don't lose their presence of mind. "It's not good, Ayase-san. In a place like this, there's a risk of slipping and having an accident," warns the boy, realizing the danger of their situation. They recognize the inevitability of their encounter with the crab. "Water is a natural habitat for crabs. Plus..." The boy ponders their next move, trying to find an advantage in this new and unexpected battleground. The struggle continues as the children try to keep their cool during the tumultuous events. "Water is just water," says the girl, trying to put the situation at ease and find the strength to keep fighting. She reminds her companion that they are together, that their cohesion and teamwork is the key to survival and victory. The words onsen indicate that they were in hot springs, which might be an important point in their journey. And so, when they are under the pressure of circumstances, the last remark gives them a clue. They get tender and tense when the crabs are boiled. Perhaps a hint of a strategy they can use against their monster stalker. The children continue their struggle in the water element, facing new challenges. And the tension means their muscles are hardening. The girl concludes about the condition of the crab, which now finds itself in an unfamiliar situation. And the movements are slowing down. She realizes that their chances of success are increasing as the crab's maneuverability decreases. The relief on their faces is obvious when they see that the crab, their main enemy, is starting to get stuck. "Oh, it's boiling. Really stopped." Emotion overwhelms them at the sight of the crab slowing down. Eventually, they find a way to utilize the environment against the crab. "She's so red, she's drooling," the boy jokes, noticing the changes in the crab. This confirms that their strategy is working, and they are one step closer to winning. After all the trials, the characters have found their way in everyday life. "Straight down this road and we'll say goodbye to the Senyu," they say, ready to return to ordinary life after extraordinary adventures. Returning to the real world, however, brings new observations. "Don't you think there are fewer people on the street than before?" wondered the girl, noticing the changes around her. Their adventure may be over, but the consequences of their actions leave traces. The crowds that had gathered to watch them fight were now part of their story. And so the characters are faced with a new reality. The city they knew has changed. The events they experienced changed their perception of the world forever. The heroes are on the run again, eluding the new danger that hovers over their heads. Their faces portray shock and fear as they realize the fight is not over. They run through the streets of the city, pursued by an unknown threat, while a crowd of onlookers still follows them. A sudden discovery on the map shows them a path to possible salvation. "There's a huge cemetery right on the hay border," the boy exclaims, stumbling upon a new clue. They hope that the cemetery, the resting place of spirits, will become their refuge and allow them to gain strength for the next stage of their incredible adventure. Suddenly, new faces appear before the heroes, mysterious and stern, possessing incomprehensible power. "The hay is our territory," they declare, emphasizing their control over the place. The situation escalates when the heroes come face to face with these unknowing policemen, whose intentions and motives remain a mystery. Their faces express consternation and surprise. They are not prepared for such a development. Tensions are rising, they feel threatened. And at this critical moment, a giant crab appears, and now the heroes will have to confront not only new sinister characters, but also their longtime enemy. "We won't let you out," they promise, leaving the heroes between two fires in this tense confrontation. We have before us a page of history full of tension and confusion. A young boy and girl stand before a huge, intimidating face, marred by dark shadows and a fierce gaze. Their faces are contorted with fear, and one can only guess at the danger that threatens them. A crowd of people, faces deformed with horror and submission, follow an unknown ritual or curse. Among them, one with the face of a monster stands out, which only adds to the unsettling atmosphere of the place. We see them again. They are defensive, ducked down and as if ready to flee. The text around them reveals their thoughts. They decide to leave this place regardless of the fear and danger that awaits them outside these walls. A close-up of the girl's eyes full of determination and despair. "And if we don't take advantage, we'll die," she says, and her words sound like a sentence they've both accepted. A story full of mystery and challenges is just beginning. The boy's eyes reflect desperation, begging for trust as if it were his last hope. "Just trust me." His gaze spoke more than words, an unspoken plea for help and understanding. And suddenly the scene changes. They confront a monster that seems to be made up of nightmares and shadows. Ooh, so bold. His contorted features and sneer speak of his sinister nature. The fear in the face of danger becomes palpable, for the consequences can be irreversible. "It's over. If you run out of breath again, you won't be able to move, kid," warns the beast, tempting fate. But the girl's determination would not be broken. Come on, she shouts, ready to fight, despite all the fears and threats that this battle with darkness brings with it. Their struggle reaches its climax on the deserted streets of the city, where they lie exhausted and powerless. Their clothes are tattered and their faces bear the marks of struggle and fatigue. I feel like I'm being torn apart, echoes the pain and exhaustion in the hearts of the characters. Exhausted, they exchange words full of despair. I'm at my limit, I can't take it anymore. The boy screams, resisting pain and fatigue, but at the same time his words are filled with an unyielding will to live. We don't have much left at all. Get up, neighborhoods. The girl does not lose hope, leading her companion, encouraging him to the last spurt, despite seemingly insurmountable obstacles. And suddenly, in the midst of despair, a light of hope flashed. A turbo babka, exclaims the girl, turning to the unexpected source of help. Damn, I forgot to restrain her. With vividness and anxiety, they realize that even in the darkest moments, unexpected allies can come their way. The battle gathers momentum and confronts them with new, unexpected challenges. The girl, seeing the danger approaching, gets a shock. Her eyes widen with fear. She froze, as if time had stopped for her in that moment of horror. The guy is in the air, his body stretched out in a desperate attempt to dodge the inevitable. The dynamics of the movement, the desperation in the pose, it all speaks to the criticality of the moment and the proximity of a real threat. Ouch! The girl exclaimed, struggling against the pain, her facial expression conveying the sharp pain and sudden weakness that had taken her by surprise at the most crucial moment. I won't stand for this for you bugs. What I don't like about you. Words filled with contempt and threat, indicating the power and superiority of their unseen adversary. That adamant voice from the darkness brings new danger. In the final act of our story, an unexpected character appears. An old man, as if symbolizing wisdom or ancient power. He stands before a row of impersonal figures, his words full of gravity. So it's that you have no respect for your elders at all. The kneeling girl responds with respect and acceptance of her mistake. You've shaken me up in a meaningful way. I'm worth saying, she admits, realizing that she has underestimated the old man and the power he represents. Her gaze becomes hard and determined as she says, so yes, I love respect. These words carry an admission of weakness and a willingness to learn from the older generation. And in the last turn, the old man, with a puzzled expression and wisdom in his eyes, replies, say it in Japanese, you're stuck. His words are shrouded in mystery and pithiness that makes one wonder about the profound lessons they have learned from this adventure. Standing in front of the giant monster, the old man gains unexpected weight and significance. Trying to bring down an old woman with your New Year's salute. His words are filled with irony and contempt for the youth's attempts to overwhelm his ancient strength. The majestic creature swirled around the old man like a whirlwind, as if reflecting his inner power. I don't understand the salute, and I hate gift-giving bandits, he continues, expressing his contempt for those who try to use empty gestures in place of true respect. The scale of the battle is amazing. The monster towers over the girl, epitomizing the power they were trying to surpass. It's like it embodies all the obstacles and lessons they've experienced along the way. Finally, the monster challenges, you don't have many ways to get out of the hay. It will be boring if you don't try to escape. Run, run before I eat you. It is a challenge in which the heroes will have to use all their strength and skills to survive and be reborn. In the face of a new challenge, the heroes find the strength for one last stand. The enemy imposes conditions. I'll rip off your clothes and then I'll strip the end of your bodies. The words sound like a grim omen. The girl, without losing her composure, negotiates with the villain. 10 minutes? 20? She's looking for some respite, a chance to delay the inevitable and come up with a plan. Just give me 1 second, she pleads, showing that even in a situation where every moment counts, she hasn't lost her determination and hope. My power allows me to grapple. There is a confidence in her words and a hint of hidden power that she intends to use. It is a foreshadowing that the final battle is just beginning. The situation escalates and the characters find themselves on the edge of despair. For anything, the girl whispered, willing to make any sacrifice to find peace and safety. Suddenly, the action moves to a bridge where the monster, like a mythical guardian, raises his huge arm to strike. The tension reaches a climax and every second feels like an eternity. Long ago, she was nicknamed 100 kilometers per h Granny, or Granny 100 an hour, recalls the girl, alluding to the speed and unusual abilities of her unexpected ally. Trains on the Takasaki line rush at 120 kilometers per h, But if the Turbo Bobka's speed limit is only 100, the girl contemplates the possibility of using this element for her own purposes, a spark of hope flaring in her mind. Heroes find the resources within themselves for the final push, then she won't be able to catch up with us. Hope breaks through, and they find a strategy that can bring them victory. You're no match for us, hurry up, you slob! The girl taunts her opponent, finding the strength to resist and perhaps even excel. With unexpected swiftness and force, she declares, I'll chop you into a salad. Promise full of determination and strength shows that she is ready to take fate into her own hands. The battle scene heats up to a fever pitch when the heroes and the monster clash in a final battle. Everything hangs in the balance and the outcome of the fight remains unknown. The tension in the air is palpable. The characters reveal their tactics. He's slowing down on the turns. A train can't run at top speed all the time, explains the guy, suggesting a plan to use this weakness to their advantage. That's why you slowpokes can't escape. The monster laughs at their efforts, its self-assurance seemingly unshaken. And my speed is constant. I always run under 100. It's confident in its power. That's my line. No escape? The girl defies fate, hinting that she has the power to change the course of events. If I can piss you off, you'll follow us. Granny was right. She prepares to use wit and ingenuity to outsmart the enemy, relying on the wisdom of the older generation. The climax is coming, and the heroes use all their wits and experience to escape the trap. I doubt it's possible to beat you in the open, and she has not lived her age in vain, the old man says respectfully, recognizing the power of the enemy, but also his own wisdom accumulated over the years. Truth be told, you're super fast. The monster acknowledges the heroine's speed, but it has no intention of giving up without a fight. That's why you slowpokes can't escape, and my speed is unchanged, it continues to taunt, believing that its power is insurmountable. The heroine is not discouraged. Follow me, but this game... She urges her comrades to follow her, suggesting a plan that could turn the situation around. If I can piss you off, you'll follow us. Granny was right, she prepares her own strategy, using the enemy against himself and proving that sometimes wisdom and cunning can defeat raw power. The climax is coming, and the heroes use all their wits and experience to escape the trap. I doubt it's possible to beat you in the open, and she's not lived her age in vain, the old man says respectfully, recognizing the power of the enemy, but also his own wisdom accumulated over the years. Truth be told, you're super fast. The monster acknowledges the heroine's speed, but it has no intention of giving up without a fight. That's why you slowpokes can't escape. And my speed is unchanged, it continues to taunt, believing that its power is insurmountable. The heroine is not discouraged. Follow me. But this game, she urges her comrades to follow her, suggesting a plan that could turn the situation around. If I can piss you off, you'll follow us. Granny was right. She prepares her own strategy, using the enemy against himself and proving that sometimes wisdom and cunning can defeat raw power. So the adventure reaches its conclusion. What happened to the Turbo Babe? Worries the heroine, attesting to their care and respect for an ally who had given them invaluable assistance. There is relief and satisfaction. Looks like we won. The heroes return to safety. Their fight is over. Success has been achieved. They look exhausted but relieved as they pass through the station turnstiles. The encounter with the unknown and dangerous was behind them. Now they could catch their breath. And as a sign of respect for the one who helped them through this ordeal, the heroes fold their hands in prayer. A woman walks by with a bouquet of flowers, a symbol of gratitude and remembrance of those who fought and helped them. The story is over, but the lessons learned from these events will stay with the characters forever. On the last page of our story, the characters stand in front of a dark and ominous tunnel that was once the site of tragedy. Honestly, I didn't want to be so cruel to him, one of the heroines admits, perhaps feeling guilty about her actions in the battle. This tunnel has been the site of a number of murders of young girls, another character says, reminding them of a dark past that they long to put behind them, but which will forever be etched in their memories. Just like you, the last words, filled with empathy and understanding, show that they share the pain of past events, connecting them to their own experiences and struggles. History has ended, but the echoes of the past will continue to echo in their souls, reminding them of the resilience of the spirit and the need to confront the darkness, both external and internal. In the final twist of our story, the heroine ponders a moral choice. Becoming an evil spirit, they were unwilling, are words for the fact that even in dire circumstances, they strove to maintain their humanity and not give in to dark ways. We spiritual mediums have been tracking the turbo babka for a very long time. We were able to find a pattern in its behavior, they say, pointing to their long attempts to understand and solve the mystery of the elusive creature. She always appeared near the spirits of girls who had died unimaginable and tragic deaths, the turbo granny apparently connected to spirits that find no rest. To visit the spirits of girls who could not rest in peace and to comfort them, turbo babushka maybe, wandered. These words reveal to us her true mission, to support lost souls and help them find peace. The story ends on this note of mercy and a deep understanding that every soul deserves comfort and peace. Our heroes reflect on the moral dilemmas they face. But it is forbidden for the dead to harm the living, says one of them, emphasizing the importance of respecting the boundaries between the worlds of the living and the dead. There is no salvation for those who desecrate the territory of the dead. Even after death, it is noted that the punishment for violating this sacred space is inevitable, for both the living and the dead. To coexist, these are rules that both the living and the dead must abide by. The characters realize that mutual respect and adherence to these laws is necessary for harmony in the world. Glad you two are in one piece. Words of relief and gratitude that they had both survived and could go on with their lives, with a new understanding and respect for the rules that govern the spirit world. After all the vicissitudes, our heroes return to ordinary life, but even here they face conflicts. "Stop taking them all for yourself, you bitchy witch!" breaks out in an angry exclamation, filled with the emotion and tension of everyday life. Ironically, after all the trials and struggles of life and justice, they are expected to fight over dinner. "I'll eat your whole Maru and Ken. Just try it, bitch," says one of them, while the other replies, "Give me the crab now, or I'll trash all your Bakatono DVDs." The scene shows that despite the grandiose events they have experienced, the characters are still human beings with their own weaknesses and emotions, capable of petty arguments and strife. "You were the first to start threatening the Bakatono." One rebukes, the other resents it. "Pervert, how can someone threaten Takakura Ken like that?" Nevertheless, the calm character stays out of the fray by offering, "Well, I'm not really hungry, so if you want," showing that even in simple things like dinner, peace, and compromise can be found. The atmosphere of a mundane evening is heating up. As an animal, anyone who isn't hungry when there's a crab in front of him is nothing, one of the characters emotionally expresses, demonstrating how simple human instincts can be powerful. "I usually eat a lot," enters into an argument with another trying to defend her rights to dinner, which shows how even after grand battles, returning to routine can be difficult. "Then what and when do you want to eat, you ungrateful little asshole?" The characters' resentment and irritation are reflected in their words, proving that returning to a peaceful life is not always easy. The scene ends on a humorous note, with the male character thankful for the return of a sense of confidence. "Yeah, sure. Thank you so much for bringing it back to me." Humor helps them deal with tension and restore peace to their relationship. The conflict in the kitchen is reaching a climax. "Then show it," the character demands, emphasizing the seriousness of the previous statement and causing embarrassment to the interlocutor. "If it's really there, show it," the pressure adds, suggesting that the interlocutor may not match his words. "Ah, don't you get it?" The hero tries to evade a direct answer, expressing bewilderment at the unexpected turn of the conversation. "Ayase-san, do something to her." An exclamation of desperation indicates a desire to seek help from a third person to resolve the situation. "Stop! Are you out of your mind?" The final shot shows that the situation is out of control, and the hero is trying to restore order and prevent further escalation. This comic scene underscores that even the most serious stories have room for levity and humor. In the first image, we see a girl sweating from exertion, with 2 straws in her hands, and a boy in the back seems agitated. She tries to solve a puzzle or complete a difficult task without the weight of responsibility. The next shot shows her startled. She is wearing glasses and her gaze is piercing. She's worried something has gone wrong. The boy behind her back is also preoccupied, the drama of the moment palpable. The third image takes us to the cozy setting of a home feast. The girl is now relaxed and the boy excitedly yells out that he sees fireworks. The air is saturated with a sense of celebration and fun. In the last shot, they are on the doorstep of the house. The girl says goodbye to the guest. He is cautioned. "It's late. You have to be careful." The scene radiates the warmth of goodbye and caring for friends. In the new footage, we see the girl confidently telling the boy that she won't give him a reason to worry. Her posture is full of determination and self-assurance, and the boy seems embarrassed by her insistence. Then the scene changes, and now the boy is alone, freezing and pondering that she shouldn't know the truth. There is a sense of concern in his words, but also something hesitant, unspoken. Further down the street, a slight misunderstanding creeps into the conversation. The boy apologizes and the girl tries to unravel his behavior. He admits that her concern was just an attempt to keep his spirits up. And in the final shot, with parting words, the boy rides away on his bicycle. The goodbye is short, but it feels the warmth of their friendship, and perhaps the beginning of a new chapter of their interactions. The boy walks away, his silhouette fading into the distance, and the empty words "bye" hang in the air. This goodbye seems unfinished, as if it will be followed by a sequel. In the next shot, the girl is glowing with happiness, waving and promising to meet tomorrow. Her smile is genuine, full of optimism and anticipation for the new day. We see the boy back in the school setting. His gaze is directed away, full of thoughtfulness. Life is bustling around him, but he is immersed in his own thoughts. His face covered with his hands, he's in a sweat, as if he's experiencing excitement. "Okay, calm down," he says to himself, as if trying to find inner peace after a tumultuous day. The girls whisper, one of them consoling the others by saying it was just a morning greeting. But there is something more in her eyes, a mystery of undiscovered feelings. The boy, on the other hand, in his fantasy, imagines himself as the hero of various situations in which he confidently communicates with girls. His face expresses a multitude of emotions. He is worried, but also excited about his dreams. He's apart from everyone else, deep in thought, admitting to himself that he is new to the art of morning greetings. We see him lonely but determined. He looks at the girl who seems to be sad about something. She doesn't notice him, and this creates an atmosphere of unspeakability and the possibility of unshared feelings between them. The boy watches the girl waiting at the gate with surprise and disbelief. He wonders who she could have waited like that for, and even assumes it wasn't for him. He thinks she's waiting for someone else, and it makes him feel out of place, like he's an extra. His doubts and insecurities are growing. Overwhelmed by the thought of what might get in the way, he decides to pass by. There is desperation in his eyes, and a determination to leave so as not to be embarrassed. Suddenly, however, he finds himself walking beside her. His facial expression suggests that he is overwhelmed with emotion and inner contradictions, while her steps are confident and decisive. Suddenly, the girl has his attention and she's surprised by his lateness, which makes the boy anxious again, his face expressing shock at the surprise. Then the situation escalates. The boy is overwhelmed with feelings, can't concentrate, and does something wrong. The girl says goodbye with a smile as if nothing had happened. But fate teaches him another lesson. In the hallway, he encounters an obstacle. His classmates react rudely. The situation shows that sometimes the life of a schoolchild is full of unforeseen moments. And here he is back on the ground again, possibly facing the party. His classmate seems annoyed. These moments at school, they are filled with joy and challenges, shaping his experience. The picture shows a moment of horror and bewilderment in a boy who finds himself in an awkward situation. Emotions overwhelm him and he feels confused. He feels lonely and rejected in class, surrounded by misunderstanding from his classmates. His face reflects fatigue and frustration from his school days. Covering his ears, he tries to shut out everything going on around him. It's a defensive reaction to an overly noisy and demanding environment. But a sudden realization comes to him. He feels that he can forgive his abusers, despite all the cruelty with which they have treated him. It is a moment of inner reconciliation and growth. The girl glows with happiness as she talks about her new friend who makes her heart beat more often. Her gaze reflects joy, and perhaps the beginning of a new phase in her life. In the classroom, she watches the teacher enthusiastically explain a new topic, and though she would like to pay attention to him, her thoughts are somewhere far away. She was pensive now, immersed in her own reflections. She may be worried about her new friend, thinking about the future or something that happened earlier. And there she is, finding an empty seat next to her. She realizes that the person she is thinking about is absent, and this makes her feel lonely and bewildered. The girls discuss the disappearance of a classmate and the strangeness involved. They are worried and trying to understand the reasons for her absence. The discussion heats up when they consider the possibility that she might have gone back to her ex. Shock, gossip, and speculation fill the air. One of the girls sarcastically summarizes that their classmate is just depressed, which may be due to unpleasant memories. And the boy, standing in an empty hallway, ponders the aliens, as if seeking answers to his questions in more mystical musings. We see the hand of a boy who passionately draws a crab-like creature, something between myth and reality. He is absorbed in the creative process, disconnected from the reality of the classroom. Him being so eager to discuss mystical topics with Ayase-san. In his eyes is a passion for the unknown and unknowable. He has faced distrust from classmates who do not share his hobbies. They seem deaf to his interests and dreams. And the girl sitting in front is drowning in her own thoughts, Perhaps she too is thinking about ghosts or just tired of the school routine. The boy is in a panic, thinking that if he doesn't decide to take some step, the girl will start to hate him. He feels pressure to act immediately. Then we see a girl. She seems to be daydreaming or reflecting on a loved one. Her face expresses tenderness and thoughtfulness. The next shot shows the boy running down the hallway, running late. His exclamations express the stress and bustle that often accompanies school life. And there he was, at a loss amidst the crowd, feeling lost amongst the multitude of faces. His gaze reads an eagerness to find someone in the crowd, perhaps looking for the right girl. In the crowd, the boy and the girl are side by side, but their gazes are in different directions. He seems preoccupied, perhaps looking for someone or trying to find a solution to his problem. The boy looks at someone in surprise. He doesn't seem to recognize or understand who is in front of him. His gaze is full of confusion. The girl screams, calling out someone by name, but is told not to name the person. She looks worried and in urgent need of contact. In class, classmates are discussing a guy who likes occult stuff and wears glasses. They make assumptions about his location, suggesting that he might be in a coffee shop. The girl looks at a group of students gathered around a street vendor, probably a popular snack spot near the school. The boy seems frustrated and desperate, saying he should go to the dining room but not here, indicating his anxiety and uncertainty. The girl is determined to go to the cafe, perhaps in search of that particular boy or to meet someone else. And in the last shot, we see them leaving in opposite directions, which could symbolize their different paths or misunderstandings between them. The girl looks at a group of students gathered around a street vendor, probably a popular snack spot near the school. The boy seems frustrated and desperate, saying he should go to the dining room but not here, indicating his anxiety and uncertainty. The girl is determined to go to the cafe, perhaps in search of that particular boy or to meet someone else. And in the last shot, we see them leaving in opposite directions, which could symbolize their different paths or misunderstandings between them. A boy sits on a bench, steeped in sadness and despair. He thinks about how a girl might avoid him because he's bland and uninteresting. The girl, for her part, is also sitting on the bench. She seems tired and disappointed that lunch is over and the boy never showed up. We see both of them sitting on different benches in a long, empty hallway, epitomizing the distance between them. They ponder their problems alone. The girl stares wistfully out the window, pondering the boy she doesn't like as he becomes obsessive, indicating her mixed feelings and possible misunderstanding between them. The boy sits in class, pondering his position in the eyes of the girl, fearful of becoming an unnecessary burden to her. The girl is also preoccupied, wondering what will happen if she can't find the boy she assumes must be avoiding her. The boy doubts his place in her circle of friends, immersed in thoughts about his relationship with Ayase-san. They are both gripped by a sense of loneliness and alienation, standing at a distance from each other, full of regret and insecurity. In the corridor of the school, a boy and a girl meet, each excitedly reflecting on their insecurities and fears. In a moment of revelation, they apologize to each other, each with their own doubts and anxieties. Then there is an unexpected and emotional moment. They kiss, as if deciding to take a step that will change their relationship. But the girl's reaction to the kiss is full of shock and bewilderment. She screams and pushes the boy away, showing the inappropriateness of his actions. The girl seems flustered, pointing at the boy as he enters the hallway. She claims it's her line and she seems willing to defend it. The boy is shocked at her reaction. He was trying to find her and didn't expect such a reception. He panics, realizing that his line could be spread throughout the school, causing him fear and confusion. The boy is surprised to learn that the girl was looking for him, while she is upset that lunch is almost over. This discovery causes them both to rethink their actions and relationship. The boy expresses his fears that the girl is avoiding him, showing his insecurity and fear of losing his connection with her. The girl, for her part, admits that she has been thinking a lot about the boy, showing that her feelings and thoughts are preoccupied with him. Their attention is interrupted by an unexpected moment that makes the boy decide to change the topic of conversation to avoid awkwardness. But they both notice a third girl who looks surprised at their sudden rapprochement, pointing out the complexity of their relationship in the social environment of the school. The boy and the girl continue their conversation, and they both seem to be confused by the previous events. He tries to explain his actions to her, and she listens intently, trying to understand. However, their conversation is interrupted, and the boy is alarmed that he may have been misunderstood. The children around them are disturbed by their argument, and this elicits reactions ranging from shock to curiosity. At the end, the boy is left alone, pushing the girl away and clearly showing that he doesn't want to talk, remaining in his confusion and frustration. The boy stands in front of the girl, both overwhelmed with emotion and embarrassment. He sadly questions the reasons for her strangeness, and she in turn expresses her bewilderment at his behavior. At this point, they are both searching for answers, but each in their own inner world. In the next shot, A boy stands alone in the restroom, a place to escape the hustle and bustle of school for a moment. He thought about his actions and how they were perceived by the girl. He is puzzled and unsure of his next course of action, his sadness enveloped by the cold atmosphere of the tiled room. A group of girls cheerfully whispering, discussing the latest news of school life. Their gazes are full of curiosity, enjoying every rumor that spreads through the school. The boy becomes the protagonist of their gossip, suddenly finding himself the center of attention. In the last shot, we see the girl clutching her face with her hands, trying to hide her confusion and shame. She is stunned at how quickly and unexpectedly rumors about her love life spread through the school. Her posture and facial expression suggest that she is overwhelmed with emotion and wants to get rid of the attention that has now been thrust upon her. A girl who screams in rage and despair in the classroom, expressing her outrage at misunderstandings by her peers. And one of the girls voices her opinion, smiling relieved and stating that it's their own business, emphasizing that the rest of us shouldn't get involved. The third frame shows the moment when the girl points to the boy and announces him as the topic of discussion, drawing the attention of the whole group. The girl is relieved and a little embarrassed to admit that the boy isn't really her boyfriend, trying to dispel any rumors and gossip that has spread among her classmates. There was a competitive spirit in the classroom. Miku stubbornly glared at her classmates while shouting, "Misunderstood!" Her eyes blazed and her hands gesticulated in the air, desperately trying to get her point across. The next moment, one of the girls standing on the desk solemnly declared, "In a word, Tick, and a bespectacled man too." You could sense the mockery in her voice, and she didn't care about Miku's feelings when she added, "No one cares." Things were heating up, and someone in the crowd exclaimed, "Oh, there's her hubby." All eyes were fixed on the classroom door from where the mysterious character was to appear. But Miku, with tears in her eyes, humbly whispered, "He's not my boyfriend." And in that moment, it became clear that all of this chaos was due to miscommunication. A guy with glasses appeared on the threshold of the classroom, his gaze serious and intense. "Ayase-san, we need to talk," he said firmly. There was a sense of urgency in his voice, and he clearly didn't want to wait. The girls turned to him, whispering to each other in surprise, "Wow, this is a surprise. Wow, so it's him." They stared at him, unable to believe their eyes, and quietly murmured, guessing at the drama to come. Miku, trying to contain her emotions, shouted, "I told you I don't want you here, have you forgotten?" Her voice shook and her face contorted with anger and frustration, but the boy stepped forward insistently, pleading, "Just hear me out. I have something important to say." Miku looked away, but her gaze expressed doubt and curiosity. Miku couldn't stand it and jumped up from her seat. "He's not my boyfriend or lover or any of the things you've already conjured up for yourself, and in fact, stop it." Her voice reflected the full range of emotions, from anger to despair. A young man with glasses stood in the doorway, perplexed. "Why can't you do it now? But we talked a lot this morning." His embarrassment was obvious, and he genuinely didn't understand why Miku was refusing to socialize. He rubbed his forehead, as if trying to collect his thoughts. "You can say things like that when you argue." His tone suggested he meant no harm, and was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Miku looked away, and her voice softened. "Actually, I really want to communicate with you." It was clear now that there was more than just anger or annoyance behind her words. Chaos explodes in the classroom. Miku's classmates cheer the boy on, shouting, "Quiet man, howl, howl, tick boy, tick boy, tick boy." They laugh and clap their hands, incited by the fun and drama unfolding before their eyes. Miku, on the other hand, with obvious irritation, cuts off, "Chill out, so rude." Her words sound like a sentence, decisive and firm. She feels her patience breaking like a string on a too tightly strung instrument. The boy with glasses stands disconsolate, his face contorted with despair. "Why listen to untrue rumors? You started it first." His words are full of misunderstanding and the pain of peer betrayal. When Miku turns around, her gaze is soft and full of regret. So embarrassing? Like she realized how far the situation had gone, and the boy whispers, "Is being friends with me." His words are lost in the noise of the departing class. The boy with glasses slowly walks away from the classroom, his every step weighed down by the weight of what has just happened. His shoulders are slumped, and he looks utterly shattered, as if the whole world has come crashing down on him. One of the girls, following him with her gaze, quietly remarks, "You could have taken it easier." Her words carry the regret of how rudely Miku pushed the guy away. "If he were your friend, he'd make a joke of it. And so..." The boy walks away without turning around, leaving behind words and looks full of regret and misunderstanding. Miku stares after him, biting her lip. There's sorrow in her eyes. "I've never seen you like this." as if she was only now realizing how deeply she had touched his soul. The corridor of the school is filled with the hum of voices and the footsteps of students. A boy with glasses makes his way through the crowd, while his classmates cast sympathetic glances his way. Ayase-san must have been home for a long time. They're guessing as they discuss what happened. Suddenly he stumbles and his glasses fall to the floor. Oops! I beg your pardon. He apologizes to a random passerby, quickly picking them up, trying to keep his composure. Then he meets the gaze of one of the girls, who looks at him with obvious sympathy and understanding. Her gaze is full of kindness and willingness to support him in his time of need. The girl meets the boy's gaze and says anxiously, "I'm sorry." Her eyes are full of genuine remorse and concern. The boy with the glasses hesitated, confused by the sudden recognition. What about you? He doesn't know what's going on yet, but his attention is on the girl. I had a bottle of water in my briefcase, not a sharapiki. She continues, looking a little confused. She tries to soften the tense situation by showing her human side. Really, I'm sorry. The boy extends his hand toward her, and his gesture expresses a readiness to forgive and forget all misunderstandings. The boy in glasses, completely confused, squeezes out, keep your head up, and anyway, it's my own fault. You can hear in his words an attempt to take the blame to ease the tension. The girl smiles at him through her nervousness. And you, so kind. Her warm attitude and gratitude make his confusion even more palpable. At this point, Miku, standing off to the side, admits to herself, I've never felt so crappy, like I'm the only one to blame. Her words express the realization that the misunderstanding has created feelings of guilt and regret. Doubts and thoughts swirl around in her head, and finally she comes to a decision. Capes, of course. Her determination signals that she's ready to take the next step and resolve the conflict. Miku stands in the hallway watching the conversation between the boy and the girl. She notices their warm rapport and suddenly feels a sense of loneliness. What? It's not like he doesn't have any friends, she thought, looking at the boy with glasses who seemed to find understanding in the other girl. Miku realizes that she may have been wrong in her judgment of him. Yeah, and she's cute. The boy steps back and Miku can't take his eyes off the girl, whose kind gesture helped diffuse the tense situation. Suddenly the girl turns to Mick. Seen it? Miku looks at her confused, not understanding exactly what the girl meant. There is a look of confusion and bewilderment in her gaze. The girl turns to Mick and says excitedly, "That asshole looks so dumb." Her voice sounds joyful, but the words carry a certain cruelty and mockery. Miku replies with unexpected seriousness, "And you know how to present yourself. He invaded me, up to my ears." Her words carry hidden meaning and depth that may have eluded others. But it's still fun to tease them, continues the girl, laughing and not hiding her pleasure at what is happening. The boy with glasses, meanwhile, stands aside, visibly embarrassed, reminding himself, guys like him have never even talked to girls. His words show that he's still struggling with his inner insecurities. Miku sighs to himself. He'll never talk to a cutie like me in his life now. Her words reflect an underlying uncertainty and perhaps hope. The next moment, there's the sound of a tray falling, and Miku's voice in surprise. Besides, I gave him an inoculum for half a month. What do you think? Should we make this four-eyed man happy? And then, suddenly chaos ensues. Plates and glasses fly through the air, and the girls try to dodge in terror. Help! Screams one of them, trying to avoid a collision. The situation escalates when Miku stumbles and everyone around him freezes. Are you okay? Worried classmates. Hey! Someone yells, and Miku tries to get up, her face expressing shock and embarrassment. Miku looks up, noticing the tray falling right on top of her, and can't believe her eyes. A basin? How did he end up above us? She is surprised and frightened by the unexpected turn of events. Concerned voices all around. I hope our collision had nothing to do with it. That girl fell. Everyone gathered around to help and make sense of what had happened. Miku tries to get up, and the boy with glasses, dumbfounded by what's happening, reaches out to help her. His face expresses confusion and concern. Just then the girl, with a smile on her face, offers, Okarun, go home together. Her offer is sincere and friendly, and she clearly wants to help and support him after all the misunderstandings. The girl taking off the boy's glasses smiles slyly. Oh, your glasses are as irresistible as ever. She teases him playfully while he awkwardly tries to gather his thoughts. Miku, standing back up, reflexively says, Not worthy of your attention, Okarun. No stupid slut. Her words are full of self-criticism and disappointment in herself. What the guys are up to? What do you think? Miku ponders, looking at the girl who seems to understand male psychology better than herself. Let the pelvises fall on them better. Her thoughts are interrupted by a desire to punish herself for her behavior. Finally, Miku admits his guilt. "I'm sorry, Okaran, for acting so slutty." She sincerely repents to the boy, realizing that she has acted unjustly. Their day begins with the usual school hustle and bustle. In the morning in the courtyard, it looked like we were kissing, and they hung me out to dry. Miku's voice is full of fatigue from gossip and speculation. On the street, Miku addresses Okarun with sincerity. "Okarun, I'm not ashamed to be friends with you at all. I'm sorry about that time." She reveals her true feelings, pushing aside fears and doubts. Okarun, raising his glasses, replies with relief and joy. "On the contrary, I'm glad we've made up. It's all right, I don't care about that." His openness and willingness to forgive Mika speaks to his good heart. They discuss further plans. "What other niceties? I put my soul into my words." Miku doesn't want her sincerity to be taken lightly. "Let's save the pleasantries for later, Ayase-san. We have a problem." Okaran is willing to solve problems together, showing that their friendship is growing stronger before their eyes. They continue their conversation outside. "Just calm down and listen. We beat the Turbo Babka, didn't we?" Okarun tries to lighten the mood by recalling a recent adventure. "Of course we won. Even her memory was honored." Miku cheers him on, smiling at the memory of their shared victory. "And from thy curse we are delivered." And they brought the joke back too. Miku reminisces about how they got through their problems, implying that their friendship has grown stronger due to their shared trials. However, joy is quickly replaced by confusion when Okaran realizes he has lost his glasses. "My glasses. They're gone. Who's missing?" He's looking around confused. Eventually, Okarun comes to the sad realization, "My glasses are gone." His eyes stare into the void and he realizes that the glasses have disappeared, leaving him bewildered and confused. There was a storm of laughter in the classroom. Miyoko couldn't stop, her mirth infecting everyone. "Ah ha 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 ha." Her joy was so genuine that no one could resist. Amidst an explosion of laughter, Ayase-san was losing control, tumbling across the floor. "That's your face, mother of confusion," Kaori shouted out, laughing at his ridiculous expression. Ayase-san could only shout back, "God, my ribs!" Hiro, sitting next to him, tried to remain serious, but he too was overcome with laughter. "I was so glad I didn't notice," he said, trying to hide a smile, but his amusement was obvious. Kaori continued to tease Ayase-san, never missing a chance to tease. "It's bad to lie about size, son," she remarked ironically, pointing to the rod that Hiro supposedly hadn't noticed. "You haven't even seen him," he replied, trying to justify himself. Kaori continued to scoff as Ayase-san fought back waves of laughter. "There's nothing on, nerd," she shouted, pointing at his disheveled hair, her laughter continuing to echo throughout the classroom. But then Kaori noticed Hiro's look of bewilderment. "I'll see if there's anything inside you." She threw in a quip as if offering to test his mental faculties. There was a sudden silence as Momo, the most serious student in the class, approached Hiro. "And get some water, bring any corn you want," she said, breaking the comical tension with her routine requests. Kaori stopped, sensing the change in atmosphere. "Something is disconcerting. In it?" she muttered, staring at Hiro, suspecting there was something more behind his absent-mindedness. In the narrow corridor of a school, a young man with glasses stares in amazement at a stern woman who, standing over him, declares, "Here we go, here we go." It's the beginning of something important, and the air is filled with tension. Elsewhere, a girl with a cat and an amulet asks with interest, "Put an amulet on the doll?" She seems to be preparing some sort of ritual or magical defense, perhaps related to the events unfolding in the hallway. Suddenly, the situation escalates. The woman makes a sudden movement, her shoe flying in the air. 110 Medkill Banbez sounds like an incantation or code that triggers something. Is she attacking? The young man is at a loss, his face full of bewilderment. "Huh? For what?" He clearly doesn't understand the reason for the aggression. In the distance, the girl with the amulet cries out, seeing what is happening. Are these events related to her ritual? The woman with the sword fan, admonishing the young man, urges him not to get distracted. This isn't some drama on TV. Her seriousness and concentration are palpable, and she does not tolerate not taking the lesson seriously. The young man apparently finds himself in the middle of a rigorous training program. The woman explains the meaning of the hieroglyph for man, emphasizing the importance of every movement and every feature. The girl, seeing the situation spinning out of control, is worried, but all she can utter is a simple yes. Her concern for her friend can be felt in her every look. After the lesson, the young man sits in meditation and the aura around him turns blue. This symbolizes his progress and the new level of perception achieved through adversity. A woman in glasses, frozen in a crane pose, turns to the girl. Great, Momo, need your help. When she turns blue again, take her outside. The task is set, and the girl engages in a strange ritual. The cat with the amulet is like saying to the girl, "You can do that with bitchy fools. Blue means it's not his, you can do it." The mystical aspect of their interaction deepens. The woman rearms herself with a fan of swords. "Beginning, Momo, focus," she urges. Things get more serious and full concentration is required. Momo gets ready, showing a sign that says ready. She probably faces a difficult test that will require not only her strength but also her inner poise. Momo turns around sharply, spreading her arms in an attempt to grasp the situation while the young man is already falling. Apparently her participation becomes key in this strange ritual. She yells, "But it disappeared when I tried to grab it." Amazement and panic are evident on her face, for something has gone wrong and she feels guilty. "Grandma, it's bad, it ran away." Momo turns to the woman with the fan. It is now clear that there has been some sort of malfunction and the young man is in trouble. Their attention is drawn to the small figure of a cat on the table. This cat may be the key to unraveling what happened. The mystery of their interaction with this symbol only deepens. A huge tanuki cat suddenly appears in front of them, waving its paw. Their faces express shock and bewilderment. They are not prepared for such a turn. "Hey!" The woman shrieks, trying to catch something, but in vain. The situation quickly spirals out of control and a mystical cat seems to play a key role. "Catch the critter, over there she ran," she commands, pointing in the right direction. Their actions are filled with urgency, for the creature is slipping away. "Where are you going, stupid orange?" Momo shouts. They are all in a panic and rush to try and catch the elusive creature that is causing the confusion. Momo suddenly realizes, right. Her epiphany comes with insight, and the tears in her eyes speak to the importance of this moment. She turns around and sees a blaze of magic illuminating the dark hallway. Magic is in the air, and it leads her to her goal. "Gotcha!" she yells, running down the hall. Determination and hope are reflected on her face. She knows success is near. A hand clutched the doorknob. In the pantry. They seem to have found what they've been looking for so long, and now the opportunity to solve the mystery is becoming a reality. Chaos unfolds in the pantry. A tanuki cat with huge eyes appears huge and menacing, while a small, fierce cat with fists looks scared and angry. Two characters standing in the doorway draw conclusions about what happened. "You've gotten better at controlling your power," says one full of admiration and wonder. Their faces reflect bewilderment and loss. "No idea. And what's that?" They can't figure out what kind of creature is in front of them or what his role is in the story. The woman with the fan, remaining calm and collected, asks, "Wow, ubiquitous. What's that?" Her seeming indifference hides a willingness to act to solve this mystery. Turbo Babka is once again becoming the center of attention. The participants in the events are perplexed, killed, banished, and everything in the world. They can't believe that the creature in front of them now looks so cute. The creature clarifies, "As if little ones like you can beat me." It is confident in its power and now shows tenderness and care like an older relative. Turbo Babe continues his speech. "As soon as I was touched by the flames from the brew, I turned into a spirit." She explains her transformation and panicked flight to the baby's body. "My body was a hair's breadth away from death, so I was able to penetrate the baby without a trace." Now it becomes clear that their adventure was a rescue for a Turbo Babe who found a new home in an unexpected guise. The young man objects, claiming victory over the Turbo Babe despite her claims that she didn't lose. Emotions are running high. Turbo Babe responds by threatening that she'll recover soon, and they won't be able to stop her. Her words are full of confidence in her abilities and her impending resurrection. The others stand in the doorway watching the scene. The woman with the fan asks rhetorically, "Still don't get it?" She emphasizes their advantage in this situation. Momo looks straight ahead and her words, "We're in charge here," emphasize their control over the situation. They are willing to face any consequences for their actions. Turbo Babka advises you to be more careful in your choice of words, pointing out the importance of thinking through your statements. The young man demands his item back, holding the amulet tightly and stating emphatically that the Turbo Babe cannot escape. Turbo Babe is apparently preparing for drastic action, recommending that you think twice before killing her. She warns that if she dies, his amulets will no longer be visible, hinting at some mystical implications of her potential death. The young man and Momo look dumbfounded. The sudden escalation of the situation puts them on edge. Turbo Babe, meanwhile, asserts her dominance, not hiding her irritation. "I'm in charge here, you fools. I've been putting up with you morons for a long time." The woman with the fan increases the tension, urging Momo to follow her. "Cut those bitches down, and I'll get your buddies back," she says, suggesting hostages or a threat to the crew. Turbo Babe gives the order, and the young man is unable to resist it. "That's an order, and you can't disobey it," she demands, and he seemingly agrees, submitting to her will. The characters are in a state of shock and bewilderment when faced with an unexpected turn of events. The silence is filled with tension. The faces of the characters reflect their inner stupor and puzzlement. It is as if they are frozen, trying to comprehend what is happening. The young man is furious and incomprehensible. So annoying. Why bother me? His emotions are off the charts, and he doesn't hide his irritation. Momo, full of horror, can't believe what's happening. You got the turbo babka out of him. How does he transform? The situation seems absolutely absurd and incomprehensible to her. Because of its unique nature, the turbo babe only loses consciousness, and its energy remains in the baby. This leads to the chaotic release of evil spirits. The realization that consciousness has passed into the puppet, but energy remains, comes unexpectedly to everyone. Now they are faced with the task of putting everything back in place. The woman with the fan claims that only she can restore order, holding the key to the solution. Turbo Babe, already in her new guise, recalls the insults she had to listen to and hints at possible revenge for those words. The situation is saturated with tense anticipation of the next step. The characters continue their interactions, full of tension and conflict. The young man, who seems to have been subjected to the will of the Turbo Babe, regains control of himself and comes back to reality, exclaiming, "Yo, he's back!" Momo comments on his condition, noting that he was pretty pissed off and decided to give in to that anger. She sees that emotion has taken over reason. And at the end, the woman with the fan probably decides that enough games have been played, and it's time to end this drama by calling out, "Okay, that's good. That's enough, Grandma." She's ready to step in to restore order. The characters come to some understanding after a tense confrontation. Momo honestly admits that she can't hate the Turbo Babe, despite all the hardships she brought. Turbo Babe, on the other hand, sees Momo as a reflection of herself, recognizing the similarities between the two in resilience and character. There is further discussion about the Turbo Babka energy return, and Momo asks why not just leave it as it is. The Turbo Babe gives up, perhaps tired of pointless resistance, and calls them idiots for their lack of understanding of the situation. The situation takes a new turn when Momo asks the Turbo grandmother for her powers back, to which she replies that she doesn't have any. Tensions rise when Momo exclaiming reminds the Turbo Babe of her promise. The wait for a response is building up. Turbo Babe, on the other hand, admits with equanimity that she has lost her powers, adding mystery to the conversation. Such plot twists keep readers in suspense, asking them to guess the character's next move. Turbo Babka explains that the sphere containing her powers has been wrapped in a membrane of spiritual energy, making it unique and easily recognizable. The search for the sphere begins, but Momo desperately notices that they are nowhere to be found. Such a small item seems impossible to find. Turbo Babka suggests that the spheres may have already been stolen, further complicating the task. At the same time, the sphere contains a lot of life force, and spirits and urchins attracted by its power literally go mad with desire to possess it. Evil spirits and urchins seek the sphere to regain their lives, but Momo doubts their plans, realizing that if the sphere is lost, it is pointless to search for it. The dialogue shows frustration and a realistic view of the situation. If the sphere is lost, efforts to find it may be in vain. Nevertheless, her accompanying characters insist on action, urging Momo to join the search, emphasizing the importance of the sphere to all. Turbo Babe, for her part, warns that she remembers the offense and doesn't seem ready to forgive what happened so easily. The group returns without finding the lost spheres, their search having been unsuccessful. The woman with the fan suggests seeking information about the spheres from her acquaintances, despite the seeming futility of their efforts. She reminds the young man that he now has the power of a Turbo Babe within him, which can prove to be both a resource and a threat. He realizes that although the Turbo Babe is no longer in hiding, its power is still a danger. Turbo Babka insists that one should not give up and give up looking for a sphere until all the circumstances are known. The characters apparently return to school, where the young man encounters a surprise. He is asked about meeting Ace. He is confused and doesn't know what to answer, because he doesn't seem to be familiar with this person or situation he is being asked about. The dialogue ends in uncertainty as he tries to figure out what's going on and who Ace is. There is a meeting between two boys in the hallway of the school. One of them leans toward the other with a slight chuckle, pushing up the glasses on the younger man's face. "Cool then. Will you introduce us?" he asks. The younger boy, with large glasses and an expression of surprise, doesn't hide his excitement. "What?" he asks as the older man continues. "You know Ace is super cute. I've always wanted to get to know her better." The narrative cuts off at the moment when Junior recoils, shocked. "Ace on cutie?" His eyes widen in disbelief, and there she is, the girl in their conversation, smiling happily. "She's really cute," thinks one of the boys, realizing that he has always liked this girl. If you want to, I'd be happy to finally spot my first friend, she says, and the boy replies with a twinkle in his eye. I never noticed before. The boy's conversation continues. So you've had it all before? Asks the older one, teasing the younger one. What was it? Junior was clearly confused. How vulgar, laughs the older one. The younger one, embarrassed, covers his ears in despair. No, stop, Ayase-san is my friend. He absolutely refuses to think of her as anything more. Don't you dare think she's cute. However, he himself cannot deny the rumors spreading around the school. Rumor has it she's developing in front of everyone, he says dreamily when no one can hear. But it's true, isn't it? Wonders the older man. Who said that? Junior is starting to doubt the rumors. Come on, man. The older man is confident in his words. And then the older man is suddenly puzzled. Who's distributing them? He's thinking. There may be some truth to what he says, but who is behind the spreading of rumors? The situation is escalating. You want a bump? Suddenly interrupts the conversation with a serious guy. What are you doing? The older boy asks in surprise. Intervention causes tension. The older boy is dumbfounded. Momo-chan. He says the name with amazement, realizing the seriousness of the moment. I'm asking you for the last time, the menace in his voice. You do well to stop spreading those rumors, the serious guy warns him sternly. Not like that at all, he defends Ayase-san. The older boy is in a panic. It's not me. He's trying to plead his innocence. Got it, let go. He asks for mercy, hoping to avoid conflict. The conflict reaches a climax. Hey, are you okay? One of the boys asks with surprise and concern, seeing that the older boy is shocked. Which? Senior tries to recover, pushing himself off the ground. The younger boy, wide-eyed, horrified at what had happened. I'm sorry. He begs for forgiveness, his hands shaking with fear. Everyone in the class is puzzled by what happened. They look at the older boy, trying to figure out what happened, their faces full of questions. The younger boy tries to calm down, repeating to himself, Calm down. The situation leaves him distraught and he tries to gather his thoughts. The situation takes an unexpected turn. A boy meets a talking cat in a backpack. Hey there, Pihu. Things aren't going well for you at all, the cat remarks with a shrewd look. Turbo Babka? The boy can't believe his eyes. He runs down the hallway of the school, unable to contain his emotions. His heart beats in unison with his footsteps. He is confused, frightened, yet genuinely pleased. It's so beautiful and clean. I haven't been to school in hundreds of years, says the cat, enjoying the ambiance. The boy, impressed, leans against the wall, trying to understand what is happening. Suddenly a girl appears. Didn't you get locked up at Ayase-san's house? What are you doing here? She's surprised by his presence. Seiko said my cats are free creatures. They do what they want. I'm not going to do anything anyway, the boy says with desperation and weariness in his voice. The cat continues the conversation. You better tell me it's bad, isn't it? With his strength, he says with participation. Very much in her spirit, he adds, as if he understands the situation better than the boy. As soon as I get my strength back, I'll be right out. The boy tries to be sure of his strength, but the cat reassures him. Don't worry, let me out one more time. You don't care about me. I'll have to get my powers back first. The boy feels responsible, but the cat assures him that it's not as hard as it seems. And then Ace-san shows up. She's cheerful and full of energy. What's up? Oh, Okarun! She cheerfully greets the boy, creating an atmosphere of ease and carefree around her. A boy with a cat in his backpack tries to hide his presence. Quiet, shut up! He whispers to the cat, but his excitement has already been noticed. Ayase-san looks puzzled, her gaze full of questions. Ace-san really is super cute, shining in her eyes with innocence and kindness. The boy is overwhelmed by her beauty. Cute. He's completely absorbed in her image. They both stand, frozen in silence. The tension between them is palpable and time seems to stand still as if waiting for their next move. Ayase-san asks the boy, who is still in confusion, with interest. What's wrong with you? Why are you backing away like that? It's just, it's not like that. Clumsily, he tries to explain, avoiding a direct look. She insists that he look at her, at which he, full of embarrassment, begins to run away. No, I can't. Why are you running away? She doesn't understand his behavior. The boy panics. I told you it's not like that, he yells, running away from her. Stop for you. Ayase-san doesn't want to leave questions unanswered. Meanwhile, the cat in the backpack is ready to enjoy school life. Well, I'm off to enjoy school life again. A boy running desperately down the hallway shouts back, I'll nail you for what-oh? Full of bewilderment and annoyance at the cat. The school day continues, and footsteps echo through the hallways. Momo, why so random? The voices of the students merge with the noise of recess. In class, one of the girls, seeing a boy running, can't contain her curiosity. Been hanging out with your boyfriend again? She asks, teasing him. It's annoying, I can't stand it. He's dough to avoid me. Another girl, obviously interested in what's going on, is indignant. Ayase-san, leaning on her hand thoughtfully, ponders the situation. From C class learned, some guy was talking trash about you, and he almost got into a fight with him. The girl is immersed in her thoughts, trying to figure out what's behind these rumors and fights. In the classroom, the conversation continues. There's a nasty rumor going around school. About you, the girl shares with Ayase-san, who replies with surprise. Oh, really? She finds out her boyfriend and gets pissed off about these rumors. Her face reflects bewilderment and excitement. Then why the avoidance? The girl can't understand why he's avoiding seeing her if he's so worried. In the corridor of the school, the girl is alone and pondering. All eyes are on me. Just by walking down the hallway, I'm too nice. She realizes that her looks and rumors are causing too much attention, and it makes her feel uncomfortable. Ayase-san meets the admiring gazes of her classmates with joy and gratitude. I don't just have a pretty face. I give these waves my greetings and smile, she says, showing off her charm and positive attitude. The boys at school look at her with admiration and dreaminess, letting themselves believe that a beautiful girl likes them. It gives them hope and joy, even if it is only a fleeting moment. Kindness, beauty. I have it all with me, she continues, full of confidence in her irresistibility and inner light. Despite all this, she sometimes feels out of place, admitting, I still lose my temper sometimes, but as perfect as I am. These words show that even those who seem perfect can experience doubt and uncertainty. The smartphone screen displays correspondence that reveals the intrigue, but the rumor spread too much and it weighs even more. The chat rooms are discussing the rumors that Ayase-san herself spread, and for that bitch to suffer, I told everyone she was a whore. This information forces her to reevaluate her perception of herself and others. None of them know, do they? She realizes that those around her are unaware of her true self. She recalls the moment she saw the truth in her eyes. I saw with my own eyes that she was a demon. This revelation of her true identity, which no one suspected, exposes a new reality to her. From behind Ayase-san's back, demonic wings spread out, the formation of which is accompanied by a glowing halo. From her back grow demonic wings, reveals an unexpected side of the girl. There can be no doubt about it. She is indeed a two-faced person. Ace Momo, her other self hidden behind a mask of perfection, suddenly reveals itself. She concludes that it is because of her extraordinary beauty. And somehow I came to the conclusion that it was because of my excessive beauty. But since I suddenly began to see the hidden, that means I've been elected. Realizes her uniqueness and her role. As proof of her words, she points to a celestial phenomenon, and here is the proof that fell on me from heaven. This external event confirms her inner feelings and her choice of destiny. In Ayase-san's hands, a mysterious golden orb shines, emanating a bright light. Golden ball. Its radiance seems to reflect her inner strength and purpose. She felt it was a sign and responded to it. From the Istsar, it's a message. I have to protect the world. She realizes her mission, taking on the responsibility of savior. Her confidence is unwavering, as she knows she possesses not only beauty but strength as well. Because I'm beautiful, I see. I'm going to make it. Determination and self-confidence shining in her eyes, she is ready to meet her destiny. The older boy is dumbfounded. Momo-chan. He says the name with amazement, realizing the seriousness of the moment. I'm asking you for the last time, the menace in his voice. You do well to stop spreading those rumors, the serious guy warns him sternly. Not like that at all, he defends Ayase-san. The older boy is in a panic. It's not me. He's trying to plead his innocence. Got it, let go. He asks for mercy, hoping to avoid conflict. The conflict reaches a climax. Hey, are you okay? One of the boys asks with surprise and concern, seeing that the older boy is shocked. Which? Senior tries to recover, pushing himself off the ground. The younger boy, wide-eyed, horrified at what had happened. I'm sorry. He begs for forgiveness, his hands shaking with fear. Everyone in the class is puzzled by what happened. They look at the older boy, trying to figure out what happened, their faces full of questions. The younger boy tries to calm down, repeating to himself, calm down, calm down. The situation leaves him distraught and he tries to gather his thoughts. The situation takes an unexpected turn. A boy meets a talking cat in a backpack. Hey there, Pihu. Things aren't going well for you at all, the cat remarks with a shrewd look. Turbo Babka? The boy can't believe his eyes. He runs down the hallway of the school, unable to contain his emotions. His heart beats in unison with his footsteps. He is confused, frightened, yet genuinely pleased. It's so beautiful and clean. I haven't been to school in hundreds of years, says the cat, enjoying the ambiance. The boy, impressed, leans against the wall, trying to understand what is happening. Suddenly, a girl appears. Didn't you get locked up at Ayase-san's house? What are you doing here? She's surprised by his presence. Seiko said my cats are free creatures. They do what they want. I'm not going to do anything anyway, the boy says with desperation and weariness in his voice. The cat continues the conversation. You better tell me it's bad, isn't it? With his strength, he says with participation. Very much in her spirit, he adds, as if he understands the situation better than the boy. As soon as I get my strength back, I'll be right out. The boy tries to be sure of his strength, but the cat reassures him. Don't worry, let me out one more time. You don't care about me. I'll have to get my powers back first. The boy feels responsible, but the cat assures him that it's not as hard as it seems. And then Ayase-san shows up. She's cheerful and full of energy. What's up? Oh, Okarun! She cheerfully greets the boy, creating an atmosphere of ease and carefree around her. A boy with a cat in his backpack tries to hide his presence. Quiet, shut up! He whispers to the cat, but his excitement has already been noticed. Ayase-san looks puzzled, her gaze full of questions. Ayase-san really is super cute, shining in her eyes with innocence and kindness. The boy is overwhelmed by her beauty. Cute. He's completely absorbed in her image. They both stand, frozen in silence. The tension between them is palpable, and time seems to stand still as if waiting for their next move. Ayase-san asks the boy, who is still in confusion, with interest. What's wrong with you? Why are you backing away like that? It's just, it's not like that. Clumsily, he tries to explain, avoiding a direct look. She insists that he look at her, at which he, full of embarrassment, begins to run away. No, I can't. Why are you running away? She doesn't understand his behavior. The boy panics. I told you it's not like that, he yells, running away from her. Stop for you. Ayase-san doesn't want to leave questions unanswered. Meanwhile, the cat in the backpack is ready to enjoy school life. Well, I'm off to enjoy school life again. A boy running desperately down the hallway shouts back, I'll nail you for what-oh? Full of bewilderment and annoyance at the cat. The school day continues, and footsteps echo through the hallways. Momo, why so random? The voices of the students merge with the noise of recess. In class, one of the girls, seeing a boy running, can't contain her curiosity. Been hanging out with your boyfriend again? She asks, teasing him. It's annoying, I can't stand it. He's dough to avoid me. Another girl, obviously interested in what's going on, is indignant. Ayase-san, leaning on her hand thoughtfully, ponders the situation. From C class learned. Some guy was talking trash about you, and he almost got into a fight with him. The girl is immersed in her thoughts, trying to figure out what's behind these rumors and fights. In the classroom, the conversation continues. There's a nasty rumor going around school. About you, the girl shares with Ayase-san, who replies with surprise. Oh, really? She finds out her boyfriend and gets pissed off about these rumors. Her face reflects bewilderment and excitement. Then why the avoidance? The girl can't understand why he's avoiding seeing her if he's so worried. In the corridor of the school, the girl is alone and pondering. All eyes are on me. Just by walking down the hallway, I'm too nice. She realizes that her looks and rumors are causing too much attention, and it makes her feel uncomfortable. Ayase-san meets the admiring gazes of her classmates with joy and gratitude. I don't just have a pretty face. I give these waves my greetings and smile, she says, showing off her charm and positive attitude. The boys at school look at her with admiration and dreaminess, letting themselves believe that a beautiful girl likes them. It gives them hope and joy, even if it is only a fleeting moment. Kindness, beauty. I have it all with me, she continues, full of confidence in her irresistibility and inner light. Despite all this, she sometimes feels out of place, admitting, I still lose my temper sometimes, but as perfect as I am. These words show that even those who seem perfect can experience doubt and uncertainty. The smartphone screen displays correspondence that reveals the intrigue, but the rumor spread too much and it weighs even more. The chat rooms are discussing the rumors that Ayase-san herself spread, and for that bitch to suffer, I told everyone she was a whore. This information forces her to reevaluate her perception of herself and others. None of them know, do they? She realizes that those around her are unaware of her true self. She recalls the moment she saw the truth in her eyes. I saw with my own eyes that she was a demon, This revelation of her true identity, which no one suspected, exposes a new reality to her. From behind Ayase-san's back, demonic wings spread out, the formation of which is accompanied by a glowing halo. From her back grow demonic wings, reveals an unexpected side of the girl. There can be no doubt about it. She is indeed a two-faced person. Ace Momo, her other self hidden behind a mask of perfection, suddenly reveals itself. She concludes that it is because of her extraordinary beauty. And somehow I came to the conclusion that it was because of my excessive beauty. But since I suddenly began to see the hidden, that means I've been elected. Realizes her uniqueness and her role. As proof of her words, she points to a celestial phenomenon, and here is the proof that fell on me from heaven. This external event confirms her inner feelings and her choice of destiny.